This is The American on ESPN. After a tough loss on the road at nationally ranked LSU, the Memphis Tigers return home tonight to face another formidable opponent. From FedEx Forum in the heart of the Bluff City, it's the Memphis Tigers and the Bulldogs from Yale. And hi, everybody. Alongside John Albright, I'm Greg Gaston. The Tigers back home tonight, and this will be a stiff challenge for them.
Yeah, Yale is a very experienced club. 95% of their offense from last year returning. Memphis better be ready. This is a very formidable Yale ball club.
Hey, a much shorter trip for Yale from New Haven, Connecticut. Last week, they were in Shanghai, China, and they played very well in a win over Cal. And their star, One, he was terrific. 16 points in 16 minutes.
Yeah, he had a good outing against Cal last year. He led the team better than 15 points per game. All-Ivy first team. He is a very talented player. Memphis will have to keep a close eye on him tonight.
Shooting 41% last season. For Memphis, one of the brightest spots in the loss at LSU was the long-range shooting of freshman guard Tyler Harris.
Harris really played well. 6 3-pointers and 20 points on the road in the loss at LSU. He is an exciting freshman. Maybe needs to be a little bit more selective, but much is expected from this talented freshman from Memphis.
Tigers come into the game 1-1 overall, having won their opener against Tennessee Tech. And for Yale, as we mentioned, the win in Shanghai, China, this will be game number 2 for them. Let's take a look at the head coaches for tonight's game. First of all, for the home Memphis Tigers, it's Anthony Penny Hardaway in his first year with the University of Memphis, his alma mater. 2-time All-American at then Memphis State and a 4-time NBA All-Star, 1996 Olympian, gold medalist. Back home, coaching up his Tigers. His adversary, James Jones, in his 20th season with Yale. He's done a remarkable job, 289 wins, 264 losses, and 15-16. The Ivy League Coach of the Year. He's the winningest coach at Yale, the third winningest coach in Ivy League basketball history.
Enjoyed visiting with Coach Jones this morning. Very comfortable with his squad. Again, he talked about how important it was in a one big league. The non-conference games are good, but it's only preparing them for the league schedule and ultimately the league tournament.
Tigers come into the game averaging 76 points per game. Yale gives up only 59. Tigers will want to get it up and down the court, score quickly, and defend. Yale will run a lot of screens and motions and take their time a little bit more on offense. Memphis controls the tip, and we're underway from FedEx Forum. Tigers will start the same 5 that started the first 2 games, and right off the bat, a little miscommunication between Tyler Harris and Kevin Davenport.
Defense is something that the Tigers have spent a lot of time on since they're returning to Memphis from Baton Rouge, particularly in blocking out. Tigers full court pressure, trying to speed up the pace and also turn it over in transition.
Here's the Yale starters, which includes the return of Jordan Bruner this year, out all of last season with a knee injury.
Communication is so important. All these screens, movement, got to know where the ball and the man is at all times.
Drive amongst the trees is off the mark by Phils. And a rebound by Isaiah Maurice.
The Tigers are patient. They should have some chances inside.
Well, Davenport had his shot blocked by the aforementioned Bruner.
That's all right. Good patience. It was a good shot. Just a good defensive play. Don't have to settle for every shot that's open early in the shot clock if you don't need to.
Your officials, Tony Green, KB Burdett Jr., and Wesley Ford. And there's One, and he's a good one. Again, 16 points in just 16 minutes in the opener against Cal. These teams have only played one time. That was back in the 1966-67 season. It was on New Year's Eve, and it was at the old Mid-South Coliseum.
The friendly confines of the Mid-South Coliseum. 11,200. Fun place to play.
Look at that. Fun fact from John.
That's right. Good look at Penny Hardaway. Very intense. Really challenging his team to play better defense, to block out, take defense personally. Really is a competitor in every sense of the word, and I mean that as a high compliment.
Oni with the personal foul. Harris thought he got hit there, and now there's only 7 on the shot clock. Martin drives, and his shot was blocked, but a little bit of body as well, and that foul will go against Bruner. And you got to like that decision by the senior, Jeremiah Martin, with the clock winding down.
Well, recognizes, as you mentioned, how much time on the clock, goes right to the rim, forces the action, and this time Martin's efforts are rewarded.
Just 50 points away from 1,000 for his career. The senior from here in Memphis, Mitchell High School, averaging 16.5 points per game.
A lot to like about him. He is a tough competitor. Likes to put it on his shoulders. Not so much, didn't have to so much this year, but really admire his game and how he has matured during his collegiate career. In Memphis, full court pressure out of the made free throw. There's a turnover.
Martin gets the steal. He'll drive, contact, he'll wave it off. A charging call against Jeremiah Martin. And good defense there by Trey Fills. He sold it real well.
Head coach James Jones said that Fills is his best defender. Tough player. Again, 6'2" senior out of Charlotte. Gets the call his way, and the basket does not count. Tigers with another turnover.
Back-to-back, try to cash in, though, this time.
Good recognition. Didn't force it. The shot wasn't there. Good patience that time by Memphis after they got the ball in the steal.
A three-guard backcourt for Memphis, with two being freshmen. Tyler Harris and Alex Lomax. Jump hook and a beauty by Maurice.
That's twice now in the first 3 minutes of the game, Greg, where the Memphis has gone inside. Again, they're looking to exploit that if they can.
Yale trying to break this pressure from Memphis. Tigers want this to be a fast-paced game. Yale wants to slow it down if they can.
Yale not afraid to run, but they're not going to just go the all-out pace that Memphis would like to see. Good hustle by Lomax.
And it does go off of Oni, and that's a third straight trip and a third straight turnover by the Yale Bulldogs. So Penny Hardaway's pace hurting Yale early, but Memphis on offense struggling a bit, although leading 3-2.
A little more patient in their look. Again, looking inside.
Maurice, another jump hook.
Shot was there, though.
Reynolds, good rebound for Yale. 5 turnovers so far in this game. Only 5 shots have been taken. Copeland looking for the alley-oop. Bruner triple teamed, and he's fouled. He was trying to go with that oop to Bruner, and contested well by the Tiger defense, but Bruner got the offensive rebound, and now will go to the free throw line.
Yeah, it all started with Copeland's quickness off the drive. Tigers unable to block out Bruner off to the alley-oop, and to his credit, stayed with it. His efforts will be rewarded with a couple of free throws. But again, Copeland so quick off the dribble, put Memphis in a bad spot right off the bat.
Bruner from Columbia, South Carolina, back after the injury last year.
Juniors and seniors primarily playing the bulk of the early minutes for Yale. This is a very experienced, tested ball club. They're not going to be rattled, even if they start off a little bit slow and have some turnover issues early. Very, very good basketball team.
Harris.
Tough shot.
And he's fouled, and he'll shoot three.
Yeah.
Phil's got him, and then a couple of push-ups from Tyler Harris, who just was red hot at LSU. And we talked about it in the opening game against Tennessee Tech when Harris went 0 for 6, that he's going to have games that are going to be as hot and cold as we've seen so far, because he was red hot against LSU.
Well, what he's got to also understand is every time he's open, doesn't have to necessarily shoot. Now, obviously, when you get in the flow, the momentum's going and all that, like it was at LSU, I think he was 6 for 13 from three-point range, so you understand that. But sometimes you don't have to shoot the first shot that's available. Again, he's a freshman. He is talented. He is explosive. He is expected to score. But again, he's going to kind of learn, shots that he should and shouldn't take in certain situations. And
his first free throws of the season, and he's perfect on all 3 attempts. The Tigers go up 2 as Rainier Thornton checks in for Memphis, replacing Kevin Davenport. And full court pressure by Memphis. Phil's got behind the defense, and Maurice fouled him. Now, good recognition there by Yale that Phil's was wide open in the corner.
Well, what you like if you're Yale, once you break the pressure, you attack. Not a whole lot of contact. He got him a little bit with the body, but Maurice felt that he didn't block him with the arms. But Yale does the smart thing. You break the pressure, then you have the advantage. You put the pressure right on the defense once you break the pressure. That'll slow the aggressive tendency down when you start making buckets once you break the half-court press.
Phil's second team All-Ivy League last year. And the senior knocks down both free throw attempts to tie the game at 6. Each team with 3 fouls here in the early going. Harris-Phil's matchup should be a lot of fun tonight. Martin steps back, and they didn't call the foul. Copeland picks it up, goes the other way, and a putback by Bruner, and that's his second offensive rebound. But Maurice down at the other end, and he's
got
fouled on the play. And Bruner not happy. He thought he got all ball there, but the pace quickens. Memphis likes that. Now Maurice will shoot a couple of free throws.
Yeah, and don't be misled. Yale's not looking to put it in the deep freeze by any stretch. They're a little more selective when they want to run when the opportunities are there. But they're very good at getting up and down as well.
But that's 2 personal fouls now on Bruner, and that's big. Maurice makes the first of 2 on the season, 50% coming in. Wholesale changes for Penny Hardaway's team. Antoine Jones, a freshman, checks in. Kareem Bruton, a senior in the game. Mike Parks will also enter in just a moment. And he'll enter right now as Maurice makes both free throws.
You always wanted the guy shooting the free throw when he knows somebody's coming. Does he miss it on purpose so he gets a couple extra minutes or not? But Maurice did his job.
Well, we got the media timeout coming up here soon. So in either case, Mike Parks would have made his first appearance. And he had a pretty good game in limited minutes, 15 minutes against LSU after not playing in the first game against Tennessee Tech.
He's going to be counted on. He needs to be a contributor to this team.
Oni, long distance, no. And Bruton makes it a one-and-done trip for Yale. Oh, Jones with a great feed to Mike Parks Jr. Antoine Jones, the no-look assist.
Very nice transition basket by Memphis that time.
Parks at 9.6 rebounds in those 15 minutes. Swain now in the game for Yale, and he can shoot, and he shows everybody what he can do. He's coming off a 16-point performance in the win against Cal.
Again, Yale's not going to be phased. Even if Memphis gets a run, they're just not going to be phased at all. Good job by Parks. Again, had the advantage down low. And that's 3 inside buckets for Memphis in this game. Parks not have much inside presence at all in the loss at LSU.
And John, as you know, Parks lost a lot of weight in the offseason. He looks terrific.
I didn't recognize him. I had to introduce myself. He looks great. Not that,
Tigers.
Not that he looked good last year, but he was noticeably different this year.
Reynolds for 3, so back-to-back threes for Yale. And the Bulldogs regained the lead at 14-12. Reynolds, the captain of the team out of Jackson, Missouri. Thornton tried to jam it inside, got tipped around and stolen by Yale. And Copeland lost it, but it was knocked out of bounds off Memphis. It will be Yale basketball when we return. And another freshman will check in for Penny Hardaway, David Wingett. But Reynolds splashed from 3, Yale by 2. We welcome you back, and heavy hearts around the campus of the University of Memphis, and certainly with this basketball program, as Kareem Azab, a junior forward, passed away on Thursday after a courageous battle with leukemia. Players and the staff, they're wearing patches. We are as well, KA number 23, and they had a nice little memorial before the game saluting Kareem, who will be buried back in his native Egypt.
It really hits you hard, young man passing on long before his time. Everybody that came in contact with him had nothing but great things to say about him. He had a long journey, both getting to Memphis and being eligible, and just so tragic that he died so early.
Loose ball on the floor, picked up by Thornton, and here comes Memphis the other way. Tigers trail by 2. That's David Wingett with the ball, number 50 again. A freshman, a lot of new faces on this Memphis team. Meanwhile, Yale returning 95% of their scoring from a season ago. Antoine Jones Jr., that's a long 2 on a fall away.
Give him credit. He was out here an hour before everybody else got shooting shots just like that from all over. So good to see him come in and be able to perform in game.
Memphis 4 of 6 from the field. Yale 4 of 9. Problem is the Tigers committed 4 turnovers early on. Here's Swain. He is 2 for 2. He is a deadly three-point shooter, and Memphis has to recognize that. He hit 4 of 7 in the win in Shanghai, China. He's now 2 for 2 tonight, and Yale is 3 for 3. Make that 3 for 4. They have 1 miss, but have hit 3 of the first 4. Bruton the up and under.
Good effort by Parks. You really get to see glimpses of how important he can be for Memphis inside. Would not be denied.
6 quick points for Mike Parks Jr. Yale nearly throws it away. Bulldogs by 1. Three seniors, 2 freshmen on the floor for Memphis. And that'll be a reach in on one of those seniors, Rainier Thornton.
Greg, one of the things that just impresses you so much about this Yale ball club, they just don't get rattled. Again, you see the hands reach in there by Thornton, but this is a very experienced team. We're talking about their offensive, but this is also a team that's been through a lot. They play a lot of very tough pre-conference games. Don't even play their first home game till December 5th. Everything's on the road. We talked about China, but they've got several other road games.
Wow.
And again, just keep your composure.
Swain is feeling it tonight in Memphis. 3 for 3 from distance. He has 9. Austin Williams and Paul Atkinson have checked in for the Bulldogs, and that's a push-off by Jones. Offensive foul. Memphis gives it right back to the Bulldogs. 4 out of 5 Yale has started from long distance.
Now, when a guy gets in rhythm like that, like obviously Swain is, you've got to extend out. And head coach Jones, again, very comfortable with his club, really likes this team for obvious reasons, understands them very well. And again, when you've got seniors and juniors, you've been through so much together, you don't lose your cool, you don't lose your composure. You're used to playing on the road. Very impressed with his philosophy and visiting with him today. You know why he's the winningest coach in Yale history.
Tigers back off with the pressure now.
Now, you must know where Swain is. He's the guy that can't take the next 3. You got to force somebody else to take the shots. If they make it, they make it.
Well,
and they did.
They did. It was Trey Phil's, the extra pass made there by Paul Atkinson. And Yale's doing this without a lot of production from Mie Oni, their star, first team All-Ivy League, who has just 2. Here's Wingett. Still looking for that first 3. He did have a bucket in the opener against Tennessee Tech. And we got a hockey line change coming in for Penny Hardaway.
Well, you don't want to get too much further down from Yale. And right now the defense, the Tiger defenders are losing contact with the Yale players, and they are finding it. Yale shooting better than 50%, almost 60%, including 5 or 6 from 3-point range in this game.
All starters back in the game for Memphis. Martin picks up the hot potato after that errant entry pass from Lomax. Jump stop Martin and a good kick. Here's Lomax. That's a tough shot, but he made it.
That's an NBA fade right there. That's a big-time shot, as you mentioned. That was tough. He made it look easy, but that was tough in the lane. Tigers needed the basket, though.
2-time Mr. Basketball in the state of Tennessee, both his sophomore and junior years. Of course, played for Penny Hardaway at East High School. Swain, wow. That one from DeSoto County, Mississippi. Lomax switches hands. And back-to-back buckets by Alex Lomax has ignited the fan base here in Memphis.
That's 2 difficult shots he made look very easy. That was tough in traffic with a left hand.
Swain, he did not get away with that second push-off. Tony Green said not this time. A subtle first push-off. The second one was pretty obvious. And Yale turns it over to Memphis. Alex Lomax, back-to-back buckets. And the Tigers trail the Bulldogs by 3. Both teams shooting over 50% from the field. Yale leads Memphis 23-20. The Bulldogs picked in the preseason media poll to finish 3rd in the Ivy League. Now, both Memphis and Yale will host their respective conference tournaments the weekend of March 14th through the 17th. Yale, through the first 2 years that the Ivy League has had a tournament, has qualified both years and hoping once again to do so this year. But only 4 teams from the Ivy League go to their conference tournament.
And in all probability, a 1-bid league, so hosting that tournament even more important.
And I know Memphis is very excited that they will host the American tournament here at FedEx Forum.
Well, it should be an advantage. You're used to playing at home. You got your home crowd. You hope that that's worth key buckets when you need them the most.
Eric Monroe, junior guard, in the game for Yale.
Nice. Very good play out of a timeout. Good job by head coach Penny Hardaway, diagramming a play and getting it right to the bucket. Davenport will have a couple free throws.
Paul Atkinson Jr.
Don't see Hardaway say a whole lot. He really likes to do most of his coaching prior to. He's looking to see different adjustments, different things in the game, the ebb and flow of the game that he needs to do. But normally pretty stoic on the Tiger sideline. At least so far in his career, he's been that way.
Davenport 78% on the young season as Blake Reynolds will check in. Atkinson Jr. committing that last personal foul. 17 fouls now against the Bulldogs. So the Tigers in the bonus, and Davenport goes 1 of 2 from the free throw line. Tigers down 2 to the Bulldogs. Talking to their fine SID before the game, said it took several days to get over the jet lag from that long trip to Shanghai, China.
That's a pretty nice start. You really get to spend a lot of quality time as a team together.
Oh, wow. Boy, with somebody in his face. Tough shot, and he nails the 3. Now 5 for Mie Oni. And a foul on, I believe, Maurice. It is Maurice. Yeah. So 16 fouls now against Memphis, and that is 2 against Maurice.
Look again at head coach James Jones. 20 years on the sideline. It's very unique in the collegiate coaching profession to stay at one place that long.
Absolutely.
Played collegiately at Albany. Harris goes for steal, almost comes up with it.
Last season, the Bulldogs were 16 and 15 overall, 9 and 5 in the Ivy, which was good enough for 3rd place.
Defense is going to have to be the story for Memphis. Again, you've got to communicate. A lot of moving screens. Good job back door.
Yeah, that was a good move.
Good help.
Very well contested there by Memphis. And a foul on Yale in the back.
But you see, when you don't know where to man the ball or the problems that occur, good help that time. And Phil does everything but put it in. Good defensive help by Memphis, but Yale putting a lot of pressure on Memphis. And again, you shoot the ball so well from 3, your natural tendency is to stay out there, then immediately you're going back door quickly.
Well, it was a nice pass from the history major Eric Monroe to Phils, but as you mentioned, great support by Keeman Davenport, who slid over and contended that shot, altered it, and now Maurice, as both teams, well, Yale in the foul trouble at 8 fouls, so that's Memphis in the 1-on-1, and Maurice nails the first. Next foul by Memphis will put Yale in the bonus.
Well, you've got a team that's shooting so well from the outside like Yale that you really have got to go out and contest them. You got to know where those screens are, you got to know where man and ball, and you got to talk, communicate, let your teammates know somebody's coming, when the screen's coming, where the shooters are.
Maurice, with the 2 free throws, now has 6, tied for Team High honors with Mike Parks, who just stepped back onto the court to give Maurice a breather. Yale still up 3 as we're just about halfway through the first half of this game. Greg Gaston, John Albright, so glad you could be with us on a Saturday evening in Memphis.
Good help, good help.
Good pass from Reynolds.
No block out, again, a problem.
Reynolds had the size. Williams gets the loose ball. He lays it in, and just good hustle there all around by Yale.
Well, I can assure you that blocking out was something that the Tigers did a tremendous amount of in practice, and didn't get a block out there, and it hurt them.
And a foul called, is it on Austin Williams? James Jones is fit to be tied.
Good look, Parks coming in, reach in right there.
Yes, that's where
Reynolds got him.
It looked clean for Austin Williams, but Blake Reynolds, as you mentioned, with the reach in, there's where the foul came. So that's 9 now against Yale.
And that's not where James Jones can see. If you saw it on tape, he wouldn't be as upset. But he's also working for future calls. Coaches are always working for future calls, and when you're on the road, the concern is how the game's going to be officiated. Is it consistent? And then if it is, it's up to the players to adjust to whatever that is. It's going to be loose. You're going to let them play. You're going to call everything. And early on, you like to see that from the officiating crew, and they've done a good job so far.
Antoine Jones checks back in for Alex Lomax. 1 more for Parks.
Penny Hardaway told me earlier this year that Parks is one of the fastest guys from free throw line to free throw line. Really the guy that likes to run and can run.
Monroe, real good ball handler. Reynolds.
Got to block out. Tigers get a break.
I got a 5-on-4 here. Harris spins it in. That's good recognition by the freshman. He knew they had the break. They had the numbers.
Didn't settle for the long-range shot that time. Again, he's learning. He's a talented player. He's going to be very exciting throughout this year.
5 now for Tyler Harris. It's a 2-point game. Good feed inside by Matthew Cotton, who just checked in, but Yale's unable to cash in. Martin spin. Boy, Davenport with a good follow, but it doesn't go. And then Memphis commits the frustration foul. He had 2 good chances there. Martin on the spin and then Davenport with the follow.
Yeah, aggressive by Davenport. And again, just really a senseless foul. Doesn't need to just carelessly walk into the guy. He's frustrated, though, from missing the follow-up dunk, which was aggressive. You like seeing the offensive aggression there on the boards.
Trey Phils will check back in for Yale. Meanwhile, 2 fouls now on Keevan Davenport, so he heads to the bench. Rainier Thornton back in for Memphis. And to the free throw line goes Austin Williams. It's 7 minutes of action off the bench in the victory over Cal. Had some injury issues last year. Good size at 6'8", 220. One possession game. Both teams shooting at 47%. Yale 9 of 19, Memphis 8 of 17. Jones. Bill's climbing high for that rebound. One-man fast break.
Wow. Well, once again, you don't stop the penetration. Phils was fortunate, but he pushed the action and was able to get it up and in. Again, you got to stop that straight line drive.
Phils with 7. Azar Swain has 9 to lead the way with the 3 triples. 4 now on the shot clock for Martin, trying to draw a foul, and he kicks it to go. Tried to get the N1 to no avail, but he makes the shot, and that's the first bucket for Jeremiah Martin, who has 3. Memphis has yet to hit a 3-point shot. They've only attempted 2. Meanwhile, Yale 6 of 10. Loose ball. That'll go against Yale, and we got a timeout on the floor at FedEx Forum. It's as a competitive good game as we thought it would be. Yale by 3. 7:21 remaining in the first half. Yale leads Memphis 31-28 on the strength of 6 for 10 shooting from beyond the arc. The Tigers are picked to finish 4th in the American Conference in the preseason coaches poll, with UCF, Cincinnati, and Houston ahead of them. UConn, new coach Dan Hurley, they picked up a big win, an upset win over Syracuse.
Impressive in New York the other night. You're right.
Temple always tough, and you're not accustomed to seeing Wichita State low in any conference they play in, but it's a whole new roster for Greg Marshall, although they have a nice win this year over Providence, so never count out a Greg Marshall coach team.
I don't think there's a great team or a team that just separates themselves from everybody else in the conference, so I think it's going to be very competitive. A lot of opportunities to pull off wins this year for a lot of different teams.
And I would agree with that, and again, with Memphis hosting the conference tournament, there's always that. Parks misses, gets another. And Azar Swain checks back in, the sophomore who hit 3 triples earlier in this game. He was 11th in the Ivy League last year in 3-point shooting at 39%. Parks bounces in the next one.
Tigers continuing to play full court after a made free throw or basket, trying to force the tempo. Good job defensively. Nice play by Thornton through the charge. Kelly just a little one step beyond where he wanted to go. And heads up play that time by Thornton.
That'll be the 6th turnover as the charge counts as a turnover. So 6 for Yale, 5 for Memphis. Now here's a number that Penny Hardaway can't be happy with, John, and that's 2 assists to 5 turnovers. And the ratio has not been good through the first couple of games this season.
You want to see easier baskets, and you want to see more involvement with teammates in terms of getting those baskets. But I haven't seen unselfish play tonight. That hadn't been the problem.
No, not at all.
I haven't seen bad shots, on a regular basis. Far more selective tonight than maybe the couple previous games.
They've averaged 12.5 assists, 14 turnovers through the first 2 games. Isaiah Kelly in the game for Yale. Parks using that body. No. Before the shot, they're going to call a foul on Yale.
Reynolds.
On Reynolds. And that'll be 3, I believe, on Reynolds. Now make it 2.
Yeah, you just see the strength of Parks. That's a tough matchup for Blake Reynolds down low. I think he got caught a little extending the arm. You can use it as long as you don't extend it.
Double bonus now. The Tigers are in, so Parks back to the free throw line. But Mike has made his presence felt.
For the most part, Parks was using it. Reynolds was using his lower body. Normally, if you use that lower body, you can have some contact. When you extend the arm a little bit, that's normally when the call gets made. But again, give Memphis credit. They're going inside. They have not used their inside game much except for tonight.
Well, if you care for my opinion,
certainly
it should not have been whistled. that was 2 guys just going at it physically, and I don't think anything was extreme. One more for Mike Parks Jr. He goes 1 for 2. Kelly gets it stripped, and Lomax gets the steal. Lomax, reverse layup, and Alex Lomax has a half dozen. Memphis reclaims the lead at 32-31. There's a traveling violation against Swain.
Now this is where a vocal home court crowd also helps with the momentum, the adrenaline. Memphis with a nice little mini run here, as you mentioned, gets back on top. They trailed most of the first half.
6-0 run, in fact, over the last minute and 2 seconds. Meanwhile, Yale, 3 turnovers in the last minute and a half. Tigers taking advantage of that. Wow, that's an errant pass from Parks Jr.
Got to stop the dribble.
And they don't. Copeland just pulls up at the free throw line. That's the first bucket for Alex Copeland.
Meaning nobody turns anybody side to side. You just go to straight line, and Thornton answers. But Memphis has got to do a better job of minimizing those long straight line dribbles.
First points for Thornton, averaging 4.5 a game. Miei 5 points in the first half for the Bulldogs. Copeland, and that time he's fouled. Boy, it looked like a lot of ball, but Tony Green right on top of that.
I like the quick eye recognition between coach and player. Penny Hardaway told Jones to relax. Jones was getting ready to be a little upset, and he clearly got him across the wrist. There's a quick glance across the way, and Penny Hardaway, to his credit, just told him relax. Don't say anything, and to his credit, he didn't.
And here's Alex Copeland, who has made 39 straight free throws, and that's dating back to last season. So that's 40 in a row for Copeland, who's averaging 11 points on the season. Los Angeles, California native, who was second in the Ivy League last year in free throw percentage at 86.7%.
Very talented player. The coach said he's a very creative scorer.
Oh, and there it is. The streak's over. You saw that grimace on his face. It ends at 40. Victor Eno, the sophomore, checks in for Mike Parks Jr.
Some of us would like to have attempted 40 in a career. Well, again, Yale is not 1 or 2 players that they have to rely on always. They play 10, 12, 13 deep.
Right, very deep team,
sure
senior-laden team, very
different look now. They're not playing man-to-man. They got a 1-3-1 trap just to give Memphis a different look.
Jones, strong drive, and that's why Penny Hardaway really thinks he has a bright future. His physicality, being able to...
Good recognition there, too.
Right,
under control.
And he got quick hands there for the steal. Jones behind the defense. Oh, he missed the layup. But again, that size is what they really like about him.
Oh, good hustle by Lomax. That's great effort by Alex Lomax. If he doesn't hustle, that's a layup. Now, that's the kind of effort that you're looking for. He's a freshman. Great effort by Lomax. If he's not sprinting, that's a layup for Yale. Again, coming right back at you. Hustling right over there. Good job. Otherwise, that's an easy bucket for Jordan Bruner. You start getting 5 players on the court, that kind of effort, good things are going to happen.
There's a 5-second violation.
Swing it anyway.
Yep. Great defense there by Memphis. They forced the 5-second call. And got a glimpse there of James Jones, who's not happy with that. Inbound the basketball. They're unable to do it in 5 seconds. Memphis takes over, leading by a point.
Stand again in that trap, half-court trap. Try to keep it to the middle of the floor.
A lot of contact there as Bruton drove and got fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line. That's 10 turnovers now by Yale.
Yeah, Copeland not able to get in position. He picks up the foul on Kareem Bruton.
So Bruton, who averages 6 points a game, coming off the bench in his second season with Memphis, but his senior season overall. Makes the first. Transfer from Eastern Florida State. Started 9 games last year as Jeremiah Martin will check in. Nice round of applause for the freshman Alex Lomax.
Absolutely. That is a good sequence for him, both offensively and then very impressed with that hustle play on defense.
Bruton 1 of 2. 2-point lead for Memphis. You may have caught a glimpse of Mike Miller, the former NBA sharpshooter who was giving some words of advice to Lomax as he checked out.
Nice. Nobody blocks out Kareem Bruton. Just exactly what we've been talking about. The other end for Memphis. Yale doesn't do it. And a quick timeout by James Jones and the Bulldogs of Yale.
Atkinson and Bruner. And Atkinson is 6'10", Bruner 6'9", and they just stood there as Bruton follows up his shot. Watch that.
Yeah, good effort. This is not going to work. Nobody follows the shooter. Bruton says, okay, fine, I'll do it. Good heads-up play, and Memphis with a 4-point lead.
We mentioned Mike Miller, Penny Hardaway's staff. You talk about an experienced staff when it comes to having played in the show, in the NBA. Sam Mitchell, 12 years. Of course, Penny, a 4-time All-Star, 14 seasons. Mike Miller trumps them both with 17 seasons in the NBA, including a Rookie of the Year campaign in 2001.
If your real goal is to possibly play at the next level, whether it be the NBA, the G League, overseas, pretty good idea to listen to those guys. I think they might know a little something about getting to that level. Mike Miller, very active in practice. He plays a lot of guys one-on-one. How about getting beat by one of your coaches in one-on-one?
Well, when it's Mike Miller or Penny Hardaway,
yep,
I can understand.
And don't forget the other, Tony Matlock, the other assistant. Let me tell you, a very, very valuable component of this coaching staff.
Well, Tony has the college coaching experience.
Yep.
He's been an interim head coach. He's been an assistant at a number of different stops and has been a great recruiter as well. So you have that experience from the college standpoint, because a lot of people, when this staff was put together, criticized Memphis because of the lack of college coaching experience. But these guys are proving that coaching basketball is coaching basketball.
Well, Matlock and Hardaway go back as teammates. And let me tell you, Matlock was a good player here at Memphis, was a very good guard. He is an outstanding coach, one of my favorite guys. I've known Tony a long time, followed his career at different places. He is a very valuable asset here. Knows the recruiting, obviously from recruiting the Memphis area for many years for different teams.
Mie Oni will get the bonus free throw, has 6 points, the unanimous first-team All-Ivy League selection. Last year led the team in points and rebounds and assists.
Well, I realize we're playing the game here, but the game was played elsewhere today. And unfortunately for Yale, Harvard prevailed in the game.
You had a high-scoring game in the game. 45-27, Harvard knocked off Yale. So
wasn't decided till the fourth quarter, though. I watched a lot of that. How about Fenway Park in Boston play? That's a great couple of baseball venues today hosting football games.
That's right. The Notre Dame-Syracuse game was at Yankee Stadium, won by the Irish.
See the Irish uniform, a little pinstripe look. Just for the game.
Something very different. Jeremiah Martin, nice dish. And I don't know what he was trying to do with it, but he lost it.
Yeah, I'm not sure he was prepared to catch it and go up.
Oni, long distance. Under 4 to play in the first half.
Good job. Nothing there. Pull it out.
That's
right. That's a good series. Yale back in man-to-man defense.
Tough shot off the window for Bruton, who now has 5. Memphis now shooting 52%.
Yeah, both teams really having to use their depth. This is a tiring pace for both clubs.
Copeland open. Strong rebound by Martin. 1-on-1.
He's gotten so good with that Euro step in traffic.
Yeah, he was able to avoid Azar Swain somehow, some way. But shot unable to bounce the way of the Tigers, and now with 3 to go in the first half. Yale tries to cut into the deficit, and Swain misses. That's his first miss from 3.
That's the only shot he's missed all night. He has been outstanding off the Bulldog bench.
Will go to the free throw line. Atkinson Jr. got, I guess, a little bit of the hand. Got a lot of ball as well. And Memphis shoots free throws when we return. 2:47 to go in the first half. It's the Tigers by 4 over the Bulldogs. .247 remaining in the first half here at FedEx Forum in Memphis. The Tigers lead the Yale Bulldogs by 4. Last year for Memphis, 21-13 season, 10-8 in the American. They made a run in the American Conference Tournament, went all the way to the semifinals before losing. Jeremiah Martin, who's a first-team preseason All-American Conference performer, was second team last year. And, of course, the big story after the season, the decision to let go head coach Tubby Smith after just the 2 years and bring in Penny Hardaway, who had the 3-year run as East head coach here in Tennessee, state champion, started out at Leicester Middle School, but no college experience, and the decision to bring on Penny Hardaway. Certainly welcome news by a lot of the fans out here, and you can see the nice crowd here at FedEx Forum, as that certainly was an issue in the last couple of years, the dwindling crowd.
Well, again, a lot of uncertainties you mentioned at the end of the season last year, uncertainty about where the program was going to go, but hard to imagine a better offseason boost than getting Penny Hardaway, one of your own, arguably the very best player in Tiger history. There's a couple other guys you could throw in there, Larry Finch and Keith Lee and Win Wilfong, couple of those groups, but Penny, arguably probably one of the 2 or 3 best, if not the best, comes home and he's all in.
Memphis has done a really good job tonight getting to the free throw line. 21 free throw attempts and a collision there. They're going to call Jeremiah Martin, who kind of pushed Oni into Reynolds. But 21 free throw attempts for Memphis. That has been a problem getting to the free throw line through the first 2 games. They've made 13 of them.
Well, it also tells you that the shot selection has been a little bit different. They have not relied exclusively, Greg, on putting the shot up from beyond the three-point range. Probably the first couple of games a little too quick, maybe shooting it from the outside. They've gotten some opportunities with mismatches in terms of height and strength inside. They've been patient, and they've been rewarded.
Yale has committed 14 fouls in the first half. Memphis 10. So both teams in the double bonus the remaining 2.5 minutes. Blake Reynolds to the free throw line. Poli-Sci Major. Good chance you get that degree from Yale. You'll have a couple of good offers out there in the world, I would think.
I would say you're very marketable. Absolutely. I talked to the head coach, James Jones, today really about the athletic challenge. I mean, the academic challenges, with Yale. He says, let me tell you something. All of my players come prepared to go to the end. We don't have problems. We don't have issues. They know that getting a degree from here is most important, and they're all prepared to do so, and they go about doing that.
Yale has gotten to the free throw line 13 times, so 24, make that 34 free throws shot in the first half, and we're going to get some more as Alex Lomax forces the issue, taking that one hard to the hole. He'll go to the free throw line to shoot 2.
Good job by Lomax, under control, splits the defenders. What a difference. He had a tough shooting night at LSU. really struggled a little bit in that category, and he is just so under control tonight. Really like what I see.
But he does a lot of other things.
He does.
So even in the loss to LSU, he sees the court well. He finds the open man. He plays really strong.
Well, Penny Hardaway said the biggest challenge they had, that they wanted to be a great defender. They have challenged him to be a great defender, and that's a tall task. That's a different mindset. But he's got the capability and the makeup mentally and physically to be a good defender.
Well, Penny has said if his guys don't play defense, they're not going to find the court. And Lomax certainly brings that defensive prowess. Tonight, though, offensively, he's contributed with 8 points. Parks Jr. with 9, and 8 for Lomax, leading Memphis. Swain leads Yale with 9. He has the basketball here. He's hit 3 threes.
Got to be careful about trying to good help. Who else talking about it? Lomax steps in and helps out. That's a good job. Thornton goes for the steal, doesn't come up with it, and yet he's got help. Lomax steps in front.
And that'll be the second personal against Oni. So under 2 to play, Memphis with its largest lead at 43-38. Yale has not hit a field goal in the last 4.5 minutes. The freshman David Wingett in the game, and Memphis turns it over. And an easy layup down at the other end by Oni.
Good job by Yale. They come up with a steal. Easy transition basket.
Parks, second effort, spins in. That's 11 now for Mike Parks. So that bucket by Oni off the turnover stopped the drought that nearly went 5 minutes. Swain, that's
a two-point shot.
Right. He now has 11 to pace the Bulldogs.
Good patience by Yale that time. Nothing really clicking on the offense. They kept it cool.
Harris bombs away.
See, that's 10 feet beyond the three-point line. That is. You don't see the NBA shots launched from that distance.
Memphis 0 for 4 from 3. And Oni is blocked by Wingett. Good defense by the freshman, David Wingett. From Winnebago, Nebraska. Native American from the Winnebago tribe. Last year, he played a post-grad season at Bull City Prep in North Carolina, and he was tremendous. Averaged nearly 26 a game, 6 rebounds, shot 47% from beyond the arc. 18 on the shot clock. Reynolds,
wow,
three-pointer, and that ties it up. That's his second triple. 7 of 14 are the Bulldogs from beyond the arc.
Again, the composure, I've talked about it a lot. Yale's just not going to be rattled. This is an experienced club. Wow, they're picked 3rd in the Ivy League preseason. That is some pretty good teams coming out of that conference.
And James Jones is going to call a timeout with 12 seconds on the shot clock. There's 15.5 seconds on the game clock.
Yeah, good job. Reynolds steps right back after setting the screen. Finds the range. Yeah, there's a lot of 6'7", 6'8", 6'9" guys that can also shoot from the perimeter. Can put it on the floor. They do a lot of different things. Good look at head coach Penny Hardaway in the huddle, diagramming a play. 3-second difference between the shot clock and the remaining time in the first half.
Memphis is shooting 46.9% from the field, so they've done a lot of good going to the hole. They've drawn fouls. They've gone to the free throw line. They've only attempted the 4 3-pointers. That was probably one you want back, where Harris took that shot, even though he has that type of range. They're playing, though, within themselves. They're not forcing the issue with threes.
Out of the timeout, Yale comes up with a different approach, back to that 1-3-1 half-court trap, and another foul.
And it's Jamil Alausa who just checked in. He commits the foul, and that'll send Lomax to the free throw line. That is, I believe, 16 fouls against Yale in the first half. Lomax has had a really nice first half for Memphis as Azar Swain checks in. You know what that means.
He's the designated. They're looking for him for the three-point shot.
Designated shooter.
That's right. Make sure you know where he is.
17, actually, let me correct myself. 17 personal fouls against Yale in the first half.
Now, depending upon how things go in the second half, that could be a problem in the last 10 minutes of the game.
No question. 9 now for Lomax. And he has a 10-point game after struggling, as you mentioned, at LSU. 12 seconds to go first half. Memphis by 2 in this topsy-turvy up-and-down game. Eric Monroe back in the game, behind the back on Harris. Monroe, boy, he had a layup, I think. Gets it to Cotton, short. And out of bounds. There's still time on the clock. It will be Yale basketball. Only .2 remaining. Probably have to throw this up at the rim. So almost impossible.
Yeah, don't have time
to shoot and catch.
Don't have time.
Or catch and shoot.
Do not have time to do that.
And they tried. A good effort. Reynolds, no, the second effort won't count. And we have a 2-point game at the break. A lot of excitement, up and down. Some good three-point shooting by Yale. But Memphis countered by taking it to the hole, getting to the free throw line. Tigers by 2 at the break. Welcome back to FedEx Forum in Memphis, Tennessee. The Memphis Tigers lead the Yale Bulldogs 47-45 at the break. Alongside my partner, John Albright, I'm Greg Gaston. So an interesting first half. It's everything we expected. We expected this to be quite the battle, but Yale knocking them down from the outside. They're 7 of 15 from 3. Memphis is going to the hole. They're getting fouled. They're making free throws.
I think Memphis did a good job recognizing that they had maybe a little more strength inside. They've been utilizing the inside game. Mike Parks, double figures scoring for the Tigers off the bench. So I think they were very selective. Didn't force the outside shots as much as they have in previous games. So I think that was smart. Again, you see, this is a dominated junior-senior team for Yale. They've been through a lot of games. They've played a lot of tough road tests before. I mean, they got to play at Duke and at Miami before this preseason is over with. And Swain comes off, and he does what he does. 3 of 5 from three-point range. Really provides an added spark coming off the bench. But this team has a lot of composure. They're very talented, and you must play. We expected a close game. We've got one.
And the freshman Alex Lomax has been terrific for Memphis.
Yeah, Lomax really played well. Defense is what they've really been challenging him. I thought he did a good job on the offensive end with some tough shots that he made look easy. So double figures of scoring, but also a very good effort at the defensive end for Alex Lomax, the freshman.
It's the Tigers by 2 over Yale at halftime. We expect another big second half and a close battle the rest of the way. It's been a good one through the first 20 minutes. Memphis leading Yale by the score of 47-45 at halftime. Alongside John Albright, I'm Greg Gaston. The expectation's not real high for the American Conference this season, but so far they are off to a terrific start. We've talked about it during the broadcast tonight, but Dan Hurley, new coach at UConn, of course, Penny Hardaway here at Memphis, and we take a look at some of the other teams. Temple, always tough. Fran Dunphy's final year. Shiz Alston off to a great start, and Marcus McDuffie is the one guy who really needs to come through for Greg Marshall's team, and so far so good with that win over Providence. Also there, as we mentioned, Dan Hurley and UConn's upset of Syracuse.
I think the intensity shots of Danny Hurley on the sideline are worth watching a game. Love it. Absolutely love the intensity that he brings to the sideline.
Look, I think it's big for the American Conference to have Memphis and UConn both near the top battling the Cincinnatis of the world. We look at what's coming up for Yale. They do not play at home until December 5th.
Again, talking to James Jones about that, he says, again, in primarily a one big league, everything is designed to get ready for the Ivy League regular season, obviously the tournament. So these preseason games are important, but it's not as critical maybe as in some other areas.
And then that game against Zion Williamson and Duke. Memphis will get ready to hit the road. They go to Orlando to play in a tournament. Oklahoma State, if they win that game, probably Villanova on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. So some big road games coming up for both the Tigers and the Bulldogs. We'll come back with first half highlights and numbers. Tigers lead the Bulldogs by 2. Well, just how competitive was the first half? 13 lead changes, 7 ties. Biggest lead for Yale, 7. Biggest lead for Memphis, 5. And it's a 2-point game as we take a look back at the first half highlights.
And most everything was contested in the first half. Davenport inside, and Jordan Bruner says not tonight. Leads to a transition opportunity. Oni with a bucket. He had 9 in the first half. Tigers Mike Parks coming off the bench. 11 points for Parks in the first half. A couple nice defensive block, but God, wow, Swain. 3 of 5 from three-point range. And then Alex Lomax, we talked about some tough shots he made look easy. Double-figure score. Oni again from the outside. We've seen him drive. Now you see the outside shot. Nice overall game. Then Lomax makes a difficult shot look easy. Blake Reynolds, if you don't get on him, he's got a nice mid-range shot. A lot of good scoring for both teams in the first half.
Memphis outscored from the three-point line 21-0, but still lead it by 2.
Well, again, the bottom line there, Memphis used an advantage in the paint. That's a big story in the free throw area. Big disparity in that area, and that all results from the inside game.
Both teams back on the floor. Second half action comes your way in just a moment. Memphis leading Yale by 2. Welcome back to FedEx Forum. Memphis and Yale, a 2-point game as we get set to start the second half. A couple of other numbers from the first half. Memphis and Yale both scored 9 points off each other's turnovers. Yale committed 11, and Memphis only 8. So Yale did a pretty good job in staying equal with Memphis on points off turnovers.
Yeah, the concern is that the free throw disparity, which, again, primarily that's a result of Memphis getting inside and getting baskets, opportunities inside, and Yale really relying on a little more outside and transition.
Memphis went 17 of 25 from the free throw line, and Yale got there 13 times, made 10. Azar Swain led Yale with 11. Mie Oni had 9 for Memphis. Mike Parks Jr. 11 and 10 for Alex Lomax. Underway in the second half from FedEx Forum in Memphis.
Memphis man-to-man defensively, which is primarily what you'll see from both teams.
Reynolds jump hook over Davenport, and Maurice makes it a one-and-done trip. Both teams starting the 5 that started the game. Harris blocked by Phils. And Maurice returns the favor. I'm not sure if he blocked that or just altered it. Here comes Memphis. Maurice, offensive putback.
Nice. Coaching staff really likes what they've seen out of Maurice in the preseason, and then obviously
that'll be an N1.
Just to develop a little more in the games, but good outing tonight so far for Maurice. Picks up the foul there.
That will be his 3rd personal foul. Give Yale credit. They came right back down, went right at Maurice. Bruner gets the bucket in the bang. 6 now for Bruner. Make it 7. Coming off a 9.8 rebound performance against Cal in Shanghai, which was his first game in 2 years.
Yeah, James Jones got a nice club. This, provided they don't have injury problems, which you never know how that could happen. Last year did hurt an injury bug. This is a team that will definitely compete for the Ivy League championship.
Davenport unable to finish. Been a quiet night for Kevin Davenport. 1.2 rebounds.
Yeah, Keevan's going to have to do a better job in traffic and taking care of not falling away from the contact.
Well, good ball movement by Yale. Reynolds airmails it. Maurice, nice delivery from Jeremiah Martin. And that's the big guy being rewarded for running the court like that.
Very unselfish play and ends in an easy transition basket.
10 points, 5 rebounds now for the junior college transfer, Isaiah Maurice. Memphis by 3. Tough shot.
Tough shot, it's right. Blake Reynolds just not going to back down. Tough inside.
There's something they see, because that's twice now they've gone to Reynolds down low against Davenport.
James Jones likes how tough Reynolds is. He really talked about him as a tough mental and physical player.
Lomax out of control. Did he try to call a timeout? No. And he travels. So Memphis with their 9th turnover of the game. Danny Hardaway.
You don't see much emotion one way or the other. Again, he really likes to do most of his coaching before the game in the days leading up and really looking for adjustments that he needs to make depending on the flow and maybe matchups that he sees once the game is underway.
And he's still learning about the college game from a coaching standpoint, as well as his roster and the combinations he wants to use and things of that nature.
Now, let me say this. Just because you see a calm, quiet Penny Hardaway, do not be fooled by the fact that this is a competitor.
Exactly.
He believes in winning, and in practice, they are after it. He is into competing at the highest level all the time.
He said losing is not an option for this team. 8 on the shot clock.
Good defense by Lomax.
Copeland then blows by everybody, and the tipping by Bruner.
Got a foul before there.
Yeah, they're going to wave it off. But boy, Copeland just
tough,
able to get by everybody. Watch here, he's bottled up and then whoop.
That's 4 different Tiger players at one time or another he went by on that drive. The double team up top, and 2 guys tried to get him at the rim. That is a outstanding athletic maneuver by Alex Copeland, the 6'3" senior out of Los Angeles.
And they called that one on Isaiah Maurice, so that's 4 now against Maurice. And Rainier Thornton will check back in.
Copeland is very explosive off the dribble. He looks very calm. The next thing you know, he's put it on the floor and he's going quickly. That's tough. Maurice having a very good game for Memphis. Unfortunately, he's got to sit down now with the foul problem.
Well, Copeland's got the new streak going. 3 in a row. He made one earlier tonight to go to 40 over the course of the last 2 seasons, then missed.
So what's he shoot, 90+%?
He's pretty good. Harris is 2 from long range. Tyler Harris now with 8 points as he hits the Tigers' first triple of this game. Memphis just 1 of 6 from distance, and the Tigers up 2.
Tigers really trying to help on Copeland's dribble penetration.
What a lucky tip in there for Bruner. He'll take it. He has 9. He just swatted at that thing, but you got to give him credit for the effort.
Effort sometimes is rewarded in funny ways.
9 points and 4 rebounds now for Bruner. We are tied again. Thornton behind the back to Harris. So it's 2 in a row.
Wow. And those are momentum baskets that the Memphis needed. That's range. That is some big-time range.
Phil's trying to answer. He cannot. And Thornton tried to get it to Harris, but a bad pass, and Memphis turns it over. But Tyler Harris, the freshman from here in the Memphis region, Cordova High School, led the city last year in scoring at 30 a game, and he has back-to-back threes for the Tigers. Four Tigers now in double-figure scoring, including 2 freshmen, Alex Lomax and Tyler Harris, both from the area. They have scored 21 points tonight combined, and John was telling me during the break that even though this is just game 3, this is the first one where both of these guys have impacted a game.
Yeah, big things are expected from both. We've seen glimpses of that with each one in different games, and Harris' last couple of baskets really when Memphis needed it. He's got range. Sometimes maybe a little ill-advised, but once he gets in the groove, he can light it up.
The 3 seniors on the floor for Memphis, Davenport, Martin, and Thornton, have combined for 6 points. As I mentioned, Harris and Lomax have combined for 21. 1-possession game.
Lomax with a tough assignment, having to guard Copeland in the open court.
Oni tried to kick it out to Phil's bad pass.
Lomax helped on that. That time he stayed and just kind of created a little traffic jam, and that's frustrating for James Jones and his coaching staff.
12 turnovers now against Yale. Memphis has committed 10.
And this is where you want to get a good look. Really try to get it inside or get it off the rim, off the dribble, going to the rim. That's what they had, just didn't execute. Good idea. Thornton was headed there.
And the teams go back and forth with turnovers. The speedy Harris. Well, Lomax may have gotten away with an extra step there. Harris calling for it. Not that time. Oni. They lose it again.
We're ragged here. Both teams may be a little bit tired. Been so impressed with Yale, and James Jones has approached the program, been at the helm 20 years. Same school, winningest coach, school history, 42-14 in the Ivy League last 4 years. That's pretty good winning percentage.
Memphis turns over opponents at a pace of 14 per game. They're at 14 right now. Davenport for three. Got it. Maybe that'll wake up Kevin Davenport, who struggled at LSU, and so far pretty non-existent tonight.
Timely basket. Is that the largest Memphis lead of the game?
It is at 6. It's a big trip here for Yale.
It is.
Turned it over their last 3 times down. Nearly a fourth. They got a timeout. So I don't know if it's the pressure, or as you mentioned, John, maybe they're getting a little tired with this up and down game that we are watching, but it's been ragged for Yale. Well, they got to take better protection of that basketball.
Well, also, Memphis' defensive pressure has been relentless. I mean, Yale has handled it, but they have had guys draped over them, Alex Lomax being one of them, all night long. That wears on you. Now they come in with some fresh bodies. Green Bruton, he also can apply tremendous defensive pressure.
Absolutely. And there it is, right on cue. Harris behind the defense, and he'll lay it in. And a timeout called by...
James Jones was trying to get one. His team didn't see him.
Nope, they're not going to call it. And then a foul as Harris tried to get the steal, and Penny Hardaway showing his appreciation for Harris in the hustle. You gotta like that style. That's the style that Penny Hardaway has instilled in this team. Play hard, up and down, play defense. The offense will come.
Relentless. You do not get a breather.
Davenport went for the steal.
Tough matchup there. Davenport goes for the steal, and you leave a taller Paul Atkinson at 6'10" for an easy basket. That's the danger when you go for the gamble that far out top.
Right. It's a lot of risk and reward. First bucket for Atkinson. Martin had it stripped and out of bounds off of Cotton, I believe, was checked in for Yale, Matthew Cotton. So Memphis will retain possession. 19 seconds to go on the shot clock. 13:41 here in the second half. 6-point game. Largest lead moments ago at 8 for Memphis. Yale's largest lead in the first half was 7. Out of contact, and Phil's going to be called for the foul. And that'll be the second in the second half for Yale. They've done a better job in avoiding fouls. They got into a bit of a foul problem in the first half.
Well, again, the good news is, they go 12-13 deep, so you can spread those fouls out with other guys.
Right. There's enough bodies, referring more to the early double bonus for Memphis.
That's right. Opportunities to get the line.
Jump stop, Bruton. Great baseline cut by Thornton, and he fouled him. Now the fans into it. Big part of the game for Yale. We approach 13 to play.
Now, good defense. Once it gets inside 10, no foul if you're Memphis. The advantage should go to you as the team offense got to pick it up, and Tigers get another steal, but an errant pass by Thornton, and now an easy breakaway for Yale.
Yeah, Thornton made the play, and then he threw it. I don't know who he threw it to. He was, I guess he thought he had one of his teammates behind the defense, but there was only 2 Yale Bulldog players there, and they turned it into an instant bucket.
That's a 4-point swing. Memphis had a chance to go up 66-56, which would have been a double-digit lead. Instead, Memphis turns it over, and Yale gets an easy basket as a result. Memphis doing a lot of isolation right now, creating one-on-one opportunities off the dribble.
And Cotton reaches out with that arm, and they're going to call it every single time. So 3 fouls now against Yale. Cotton will head to the bench, so will Phils. Monroe checks back in, as does Mie Oni.
Oni with a nice breather. I don't expect him to spend much time on the bench here the last 12 minutes, but he had a nice little breather. His team still within contact, down by 6.
They call an offensive foul there? Yeah, Thornton on the screen.
Yeah.
Right. You saw Phils go to the ground, and Harris blew right by him. Watch it again.
Take a look.
Or Swain, I should say.
That was an inadvertent.
Right.
Got him with the trip, but that was unintentional. That was not premeditated.
I think it was the stagger, and then
that's a tough call.
The drop to the ground. Atkinson working hard. He had the mismatch with Harris on him, and they didn't recognize him. And then Swain buries his 4th three of the game. He now has 14, and it's back to a one-possession contest.
That's a basket that Yale needed, and to their credit, once again, their composure, find themselves right back in the game.
Bulldogs now 8 of 18 from distance tonight. Memphis 3 of 9. And a reach by Monroe. And quickly, that's 5 fouls now against Yale with 11:22 remaining in the second half. Swain with the outlet, the dunk by Atkinson, but Yale still trails it by 3. Well, Yale sophomore guard Azar Swain is certainly dialed in tonight. He has 14 points, including 4 threes in just 16 minutes of play. And that long-distance shooting has kept Yale in this game.
Well, he continues where he left off in the Cal game. Had 16 in that game, 4 of 7 from three-point range against Cal in their season opener. And as you mentioned, Greg, he has been lethal tonight, including the last basket that got Yale back to a single possession game. Very impressive coming off the bench. He is only a sophomore and really provides that offensive spark that you really like coming off your bench if you're head coach.
15 lead changes tonight. 9 times this game has been tied, and right now it's a one-possession game, 64-61. Reynolds the rebound for Yale after the miss from Bruton. So Oni, Reynolds, Monroe, Atkinson, and Swain on the floor for Yale. Antoine Jones is checked in for Memphis, along with Harris, Bruton, Jeremiah Martin, and Rainier Thornton. Oni somehow got it to Atkinson. How did he see him behind 2 defenders? And he dunks. He now has 6, and Yale's back to within 1. John, how did he see him?
I'm not sure he did.
But anyway, giving him the benefit of the doubt.
And again, credit to Yale's composure. Might see Mike Parks. Hadn't seen much of Mike Parks in the second half. And Tigers get from inside. Harris another big basket when the Tigers needed it.
Harris now 3 of 5 from distance, 5 of 8 overall, has 16 points to lead all scorers. He and Swain putting on a show. Lead back to 4 as we are halfway through the second half at FedEx Forum. Oni contested shot.
Got to do a better job again blocking out and wanting that rebound. Tigers get a break there with another turnover by Yale.
Number 17 for the Bulldogs. You're absolutely right. They got a break after getting the offensive rebound. There he is, James Jones, 20th season at Yale. I'm going to hit you up with some president trivia in just a moment.
I'm ready for it.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Harris got it back, and they won't count that shot. He was pushed before the shot was taken.
Harris driving right to the rim. Push actually occurred right before. Got into it.
So each team now with 4 fouls. Lomax will make the inbounds pass with a fresh 30. Jones looking to go one-on-one. He's fouled by Reynolds, and he'll go to the free throw line and shoot 2. All right. Yale, they've produced some presidents. Name them.
They have.
Name them.
Well, let's see. Let's start with Howard Taft.
Howard Taft.
Early 1900s, maybe? Both Bushes, George H. and
Right.
George
I
W.
knew that.
That's right.
I did not know Taft.
Now, you're including undergrad and potential graduate schools, correct?
Okay, sure.
All right, law school, possibly?
Yeah, let's do that.
How about Gerald Ford? Played football at Michigan, but went to law school at Yale. And then Bill Clinton.
I knew Bill Clinton. I did not know Gerald Ford. I knew he played football at Michigan.
That's right.
I did not know he went to law school at Harvard.
5.
Or at Yale, excuse me. Don't want to say Harvard here.
Oh, particularly not today.
No. Yale, the 3rd oldest school in the country.
How about this? Davenport's guarding Monroe. Now that's flexibility. That was 6'8" on about 6'1", 6'2".
Knocked away. And Lomax blew the leg. Now, I don't know what Oni was thinking there. And Lomax comes back and he hits our table and knocks down the monitor. They're hustling.
Well, Greg may or may not be involved the rest of this as it hits the monitor. Actually used the right hand, should have used the left hand there somehow, but give him credit. He hustles back, coming right at you.
But Oni had the ball tipped away by Lomax. I don't know what he was waiting for. He can go back and retrieve it.
Yeah, he was uncertain, and that hesitation was just enough for Lomax to get in there and pick up the ball.
Jones undercut by Bruner. And that'll be number 3 against Bruner. Now again, the foul starting to mount for Yale. That'll be number 6, but in the act. So 2 free throws for Antoine Jones, trying to add to his 5 points.
Now, this is the point in the game if you're Memphis. 8:55 remaining. You're up by 6. You can start to feel the opportunity. Can we push it to the double digit? Can we keep it out there? And if you're Yale, that's where you got to continually find a way to get it back one possession. At home, this is where you want to learn that killer instinct. When you've got a team down by 6, that turns into 10 to 12 to 14 to 16. And when you're young, particularly early parts of the season, sometimes that's difficult. But this is the juncture when Memphis really wants to put the hammer down.
Jones with the 2 free throws makes it 20 for 29 for the Tigers tonight. Bruner lays it in. They made that look easy. Nice delivery from the captain of the team, Blake Reynolds.
Well, good job by Yale. They avoided the double team, and once the defense was exposed with the potential trap, they found the weakness and got it in there.
Bruner now with 11 to go along with 5 rebounds. Jones feeling it, but not that time. And Swain climbs the ladder for the rebound. Still a 5-point game as we approach 8 minutes to play.
Tigers continuing to play man-to-man defense.
Down 9 on the shot clock. Bruner
Too
got
easy.
by Mark.
Too easy.
That was
Again,
a mismatch for him.
Dribble penetration to the basket like that, that's just not going to work. You got to be able to get in the way.
And that's the guy they get back this year from the injury last year, which kept him out the whole season. He's already been a difference maker through 2 games. Jordan Bruner, the 6'9 junior. 7:45 to play in the second half. Memphis by 3. Yale has hit 6 of their last 7 shots. The Tigers have not made a bucket in the last 2.5 minutes, but Memphis still leads by 3 because they're getting to the free throw line where they've made 20 of 29.
Yeah, 17 players have scored in this game. That is a lot of offensive distribution. Of course, as you mentioned, you got 4 Tigers in double figures. Yale's got 2 in double figures, but 8 Yale players have scored, 9 Tigers have scored. So a lot of different players in the game contributing.
Largest lead for Penny Hardaway's team, 8. That was at the 14-13 mark of the second half. James Jones' team had a 7-point lead in the first half at the 12:38 mark. 1 possession contest. Lomax will try to change that at the free throw line. 10 points for Alex Lomax to go along with 3 rebounds and an assist.
Nice form. Get everything balanced. Nice waist dip. That's where you get your arch in the free throw shooting. Good follow through. And so far, perfect on the night. 5 for 5. I jinxed him. Thought about it. I knew I did it.
He was 4 for 4 coming in, so he was 9 for 9. But the Tigers do get an offensive rebound and a Another opportunity. Davenport. Memphis now 4 of 13 from beyond the arc. 4-point game.
Now, if you're Memphis, you really want to deny Yale the ability to get to the rim via the dribble. Want to force them to shoot a contested shot from the perimeter if you can.
The freshman Lomax guarding Copeland. Now Davenport switches with 5. Bruner's got a mismatch, but he's way outside. And never touched the rim. That's a shot clock violation. So you like that switch off because Bruner's not a three-point shooter.
Yeah. James Jones laboring after that effort, but that was a very good team defensive effort for Memphis. As you mentioned, good switch. And what was really impressive, no reaching, unnecessary fouls, particularly when the shot clock goes inside 10. That's when you don't have to get ultra aggressive because the advantage should be to the defense.
Quiet night for Jeremiah Martin, and he traveled. 13th turnover for Memphis. Once again, a negative assist to turnover ratio. 10 assists tonight for the Tigers, 13 turnovers.
Tiger brain trust. Penny Hardaway again trying to mull over what adjustments possibly to make.
Little pressure from Memphis. Yale breaks it, no problem. And again, a mismatch. Get it inside. This time it was Atkinson.
Nice job by Yale. Made that look easy.
2-point game. Thornton. Now they're going with the dual bigs. They're going with Atkinson and Bruner because they see they have a mismatch underneath.
And again, surprised that Parks has not played hardly at all in the second half.
The back has to be acting up. That's the only thing I could think of.
Wait a minute.
Although here he comes.
Might have hurt us. Yeah. But that's a possibility.
Do you have the red phone to Penny Hardaway? Did you call Coach?
No, he does not want to take it. My advice. Doesn't need it. You also wonder about conditioning with Parks. He played a lot of minutes in the first half. Nice job by Lomax. Keep that alive.
Was that nifty? He not only kept the ball in bounds, he avoided the fans here in the high rent district.
Well, he's going to quickly become a fan favorite because of the effort he puts out on the floor.
Gordon put out the arm. I was surprised they didn't whistle him for the offensive foul. 9 now on the shot clock. Davenport gives him a second opportunity, and then Jeremiah Martin, that's one you say no, yes, if you're Penny Hardaway.
Now, give Memphis credit on the offensive boards. They were aggressive. Again, got to stop the straight line drives. Good job by Thornton. Nice job. That's exactly what you got to do.
Right. Bruner tried to go over him.
Give Vernier Thornton a lot of credit. That's exactly what you have to do. Be willing to sacrifice your body. Again, if he doesn't go in there, it's another easy basket. Actually, it was an easy pass off to the side. He could have gotten to Atkinson. Tigers, Vernier Thornton are rewarded with a heads-up defensive play. Even
20 turnovers now for Yale, and that's probably what Coach Jones is telling him, that he had the other big, Atkinson, wide open.
Sure did.
So Bruner has 4, and he's out of the game. Atkinson has 3 fouls, Phils has 3, Reynolds has 3, and a timeout called by Memphis. We'll take a break as well with 5:11 remaining in the second half. Memphis leads Yale by 5. It has been nip and tuck all night long. Memphis leads Yale here at FedEx Forum by 5. Jordan Bruner just picked up his 4th foul, and he'll have to sit on the bench until James Jones feels it's necessary to get him back in. There's also 3 players with 3 fouls, Reynolds, Phils, and Atkinson. So the bigs, Bruner, Reynolds, and Atkinson, all in some sort of foul trouble. 25 personal fouls now called against Yale tonight. Memphis just 14. Harrison Lomax, the freshman, alongside Jeremiah Martin in the backcourt, Vernier Thornton and Mike Parks Jr. in for Memphis. Ball got knocked out of Thornton's hands.
Man-to-man defensively for Yale.
Lomax short. And Monroe gets the rebound. That's not his specialty. Lomax shooting the three, but he was wide open. Davenport off the bench for Penny Hardaway. He'll check in at the next stoppage. .13 now on the shot clock as Oni gets it back. Oni went right at Parks.
Impressive move that time by Oni.
Now he's in double figures, scoring with 11 to go along with 6 rebounds and 4 assists.
And to Yale's credit, once again, a one-possession deficit.
Martin hit his last one, not that time, and Reynolds gets a rebound. Reynolds does a good job crashing the boards. That's his 6th. Both teams with 30 rebounds. Memphis came in with a -6.
Lomax got to be careful. He's going to pick up a foul. It's unnecessary.
So Lomax, the reach. We have a timeout on the floor. It's a one-possession game in Memphis. Two of the shortest players on the court tonight have been two of the biggest producers, Swain and Harris.
Yeah, both of them have had timely threes when each team really needed it. Swain continuing his impressive play. Cal game 16, and then Harris coming off a big game for him at LSU earlier in the week, so he's playing well in the last couple outings as well.
Had 20 at LSU. And as you saw, Tyler Harris with 16 tonight.
Well, that's also sophomore and freshman, so younger players contributing in big ways for each team.
Bruton back on the court for Memphis. Oni switches hands. How beautiful was that?
Strong right-handed move with a left-handed finger roll. Wow, in traffic,
Yale's
when it matters.
5 of their last 7 shots, John. Meanwhile, the Tigers looking for a bucket. They've only hit 1 of 9, one of their last 9. But Reynolds will be called for a hold, and that's going to be 4 now on Reynolds. And Memphis goes back to the free throw line. 1-point game. Tigers by that single point, 74-73. And now, James Jones decides he's going to bring Bruner in. Might get a lot of offensive, defensive substitutions here the rest of the way.
Well, this is where James Jones and his experience in 20 years as a head coach on the bench really comes into play.
Boy, Davenport's had a rough night. 4 points, 4 rebounds. That's it. He misses the front end of that 1-and-1. Next foul by Yale, though, will put the Tigers in the double bonus. And an offensive foul.
Phils pushing off.
On Phils. So that's his 4th.
Let's see if it's as dramatic as possible. Okay, Bruton gets a little academy, but definitely contact. When the arm extends, that's where the problem occurs. It's not necessarily how violent it was, although Kareem did a good job of selling it. Have to point that out, but pushing off, when that arm extends like that, that's almost an automatic.
I hate to say it, but sometimes you have to sell it. Sometimes you don't get that call, and that was certainly a foul.
I'm not opposed to a little theatrics.
Oh, what a steal by Monroe. As the trailer is going to go up against Davenport, he gets it, count it, and the foul.
That's his first bucket of the night, correct?
It is.
And that's a big-time play.
He double clutched in the air, and Davenport fouled him.
Give him credit right here. This is a tough play. Monroe with his first basket of the night, and it comes critical juncture, 3:10, and gives Yale the lead. Chance for a 3-point play. That's impressive.
Started 12 games last year, the San Diego, California native. Completes the 3-point play, and Yale has a 2-point lead. They've regained the lead with 3:10 to go.
Now, this is where Memphis really has to keep their composure by realizing you don't have to take the first shots that's there if you're not comfortable with it, but look for a high percentage shot. You really would like to get it close to the basket where you got an offensive rebounding possibility, or you're going to get a chance, maybe some fouls and free throws.
Martin, a lot of contact, switch to the left hand, it bounces out, and Oni gets the rebound. 1-and-done trip for Memphis. They have 4 of their starters in, and Mike Parks Jr. in for Isaiah Maurice.
Now, you don't have to steal. You don't have to go for a steal and gamble.
And another
foul call away from the ball.
Foul. Yes, I think. Yes.
I think they're going to call that on Atkinson, aren't they? I think that's who they call. I didn't see a lot in there, and boy, James Jones very upset about it.
So that's 4 on Atkinson. Bruner has 4. Phils, I believe, has 4.
Memphis with another opportunity to get a good look.
And they're in the double bonus. 7-0 run over the last minute and 50 for Yale. And then another foul. If it's Atkinson, Bruner, Oni, who is it? They're going to call it on
Atkinson.
So that'll be it for him.
Now that takes away one of the bigs inside for the Bulldogs. That's tough. 2 quick fouls in less than 15 seconds of game time.
29 personal fouls called against Yale, and Paul Atkinson fouls out with 8 points. He was 4 of 4 from the field. Did a real nice job getting good position underneath for easy buckets, and he altered some shots as well. And he'll be replaced by Blake Reynolds. And here's Jeremiah Martin at the free throw line. Memphis is 21 of 32 from the charity stripe. In and out on the first attempt by the senior. Martin just 6 points on 2 of 7 shooting. He'll get 1 more. Try to make it a 1-point game. And he does.
Tigers will pick up full court.
They turned Yale over 22 times. They will back off the pressure. I'm a little surprised, but no, Davenport does step
Don't have to reach, though. Memphis got to be careful about unnecessary fouls and gambling too far. Don't have to do that yet. Still plenty of time. 2:20 left.
Next foul does put Yale in the bonus. Backdoor cut. Oni, the scoop. And he's called, and a foul called against Memphis on a nice pass for Monroe. And Mike Parks Jr. called for the foul. Watch this pass
Backdoor.
by Monroe.
Martin denying. Wow.
Well, they could have called the hold on Jeremiah Martin. Instead, they called Parks with the body. And now Oni, 67% from the line on the season. And all of a sudden, the last 4 or 5 minutes, he's made his presence felt.
Well, this is where Yale spreading the floor and really isolating with their guys. They want to have the ball. They've really done a good job of getting it to the right guys the last couple of trips down. Memphis has got to do the same thing at this end. Still plenty of time, though. That's what you got to remember. Plenty of possessions left. Don't need to unnecessarily launch a shot that's not there.
Oni now with 15. Lomax from the free throw line. No. Loose ball. And it's picked up by Bruner. Memphis needs a good defensive possession here as they have gone dead cold on offense. They've missed 10 of their last 11 shots, have not had a field goal in nearly 4 minutes. Well has run dry. Swain.
Wow.
Trying to put home the dagger.
Wow.
He drills a 3. It's still a lot of time on the board as far as that's concerned, but Azar Swain, they left him alone, and he hits his 5th triple. Actually got a great screen from Reynolds.
Yeah, Harris came behind the screen. That's what allowed Swain the shot. And as you mentioned, he's been lethal. I think he had a good night sleep sign that he said after that, which didn't go over too well. But give Yale a lot of credit. Again, they have just made key plays the last 4 or 5 possessions. They've got it in the right guy's hands each time.
They are shooting 45% from beyond the arc. They're 9 of 20. Swain himself is 5 of 7. Swain with 17. Oni with 15. Bruner with 13 and 7 rebounds, but playing with 4 fouls.
Now, look,
Reynolds with 4 fouls as well.
Again, a minute 39. That's enough time. Now you're going to have to ramp up your defense. You are going to have to start gambling a little bit, but the offensive end, you've got to put pressure on you. You got to take it right at them. Try to create a foul, or you're getting to the rim where you're in good offensive rebounding position. But now's time you've got to really put pressure on them defensively, particularly in the paint area.
Well, maybe go right into Parks against Bruner, who doesn't want to commit that 5th foul. Instead, Lomax had it knocked away, and they're going to call it jump ball. Possession arrow is Memphis.
Memphis very fortunate there, Greg.
They are. Lomax tried to go over the top, and it just got swatted away. Now they're going to bring in Kareem Bruton Jr., the senior, as Alex Lomax takes a seat on the bench.
A little more size, and he's got a little more experience maybe in terms of going inside. Nice inbounds pass.
Boy, what an entry pass. There's
Perfect.
the difference, right? Bruton comes in, he makes the feed to Jeremiah Martin, and that's a great coaching decision there by Penny Hardaway to make the switch. 81-77. The lead is 4 for Yale. They had a 7-point lead in the first half. They had a 6-point lead here in the second half.
Nice
Quick
steal.
by Bruton with the steal. Bruton lays it up again. Great defense at one end, turns into instant offense at the other. Bruton Jr. making a difference here, and the lead is cut to 2.
Got to get back quick.
Oni. He got it blocked by Mike Parks Jr., but Reynolds gets it back. Reynolds.
Block. They're going to call a block on Bruton.
Wow. They're going to call the block on Bruton, and it looked like he lowered his shoulder. Now, where was he in the restricted area?
Let's take a look at it. There's the dunk.
Now watch
it's blocked. Wow. Very fortunate.
That is an offensive foul, 9 out of 10 times.
And you lower it. And the crowd responds.
And you saw Bruton Jr. was not in the restricted area.
No.
He's outside of it, in position. Boy, that's a tough break. And here comes Reynolds. 50% from the free throw line coming in. Tonight, 1 of 2. So he makes the first.
Now, all that being said, Memphis has still got time. Fields checks in primarily for defense and ball handling purposes. But Memphis has still got time. They've seen the last couple times. They've picked up a couple steals. They've gotten a couple quick baskets. Plenty of time.
Now an official's timeout. That's K.B. Burdett Jr. talking with Wesley Ford. Not sure exactly what. Now they're going to go over and talk to Tony Green. 3-point game. 1 more free throw for Reynolds. Reynolds with 10 points and 5, I think that's 7 rebounds. Yale has out-rebounded Memphis 33-30, so now they're going to check with something at the scorer's table. Both teams went to their respective benches. Now they're going to call them back onto the floor. Yale has hit 17 of 20 free throws tonight, 85%. Memphis has shot more, but only 64.7%, 22 of 34. Big one here for Reynolds.
Must block out.
And he continues with that 1-for-2 streak that he has in the early season. Big miss there, Memphis down a possession. Harris lost.
Got a foul or kickball, I don't know which. I think he got a foul first.
They did call the foul.
Wow. That's close there.
That's Bruner, and that is number 5 on Bruner.
And if you're Memphis, the fortunate thing is you have a chance to make up the deficit with the shot, with the clock stopped. And if you make the free throws, then you get to set your defense up full court pressure-wise.
Memphis in the double bonus. Yale is still in the bonus, so another foul for Memphis. Still 1-and-1 situation for Yale. Boy, it looked like Harris was a little bit out of control, but they called the foul on Bruner, so that's the second Bulldog to foul out of the game.
Well, this game has been all that was advertised.
Harris 3 for 3 at the free throw line tonight. He has 16 points to lead the Tigers. 2 big ones here. In and out, but he'll get another. They're in the double bonus.
Deep breath, 35.7 seconds to go. That's not the end. You can't act like that's the end of the game. You're going to have a couple more possessions. Now, again, possessions are going to be at a premium now.
Lomax checks in for Park, so they're going to certainly try to force a turnover here with their guards.
But you have to be careful. If you sell out and you gamble all the way and you give up a basket, easy basket, that really hurts. Not quite at the desperation just yet. You can deny. But they also try to force a 10-second count in the backcourt.
They have forced 23 turnovers. That's the DNA of this makeup of this team.
Looking for a trap, looking for a trap.
They got Copeland picked up his dribble and had to call a timeout with 31 seconds to go. 26 on the shot clock. Wow, what a game. As you mentioned, John, everything and then some. Figured this would be a really good game. Yale is a solid team from the Ivy League. Got a nice win in Shanghai against Cal. Memphis played pretty well, but lost at nationally ranked LSU. And that's nothing to be ashamed about. Things they did very well. Other things, though, that they're going to work on.
You know, we talked at the 8-minute mark about Memphis having an opportunity to turn that into a double. That's where you got to start putting the pressure on. And Memphis not able to create the separation at that point. And Yale, to their credit, again, primarily experience. I mean, they're doing a lot with primarily junior and senior players. They did not allow Memphis to put the double-digit deficit on and climb back in it and actually taking the lead.
This is a team that plays some pretty good non-conference opponents. Like the Duke Blue Devils on December 8th. They'll play at Cameron Indoor Stadium. I mentioned that they play Cal, although Cal not expected to do a lot in the Pac-12.
Duke, that should be advertised as a high wire act. My gosh.
And Zion Williamson, the story of the early portion of the college basketball season. So once again, here's the reset. 31 seconds to play in the second half with Yale leading 82-80. Yale's committed 10 fouls. Memphis in the double bonus. Memphis has committed 8, so Yale is in the bonus. And they have 6 seconds to cross the timeline.
Well, Reynolds, if he gets it back, that's who you want to foul if you have to. He just missed the second free throw there, so if he gets it back, you want to.
And Reynolds and Phils have 4 fouls each. They're on the floor. Boy, that was close. Got it over. Copeland is grabbed by Davenport. Oh, did they call a jump ball?
Yes, he did. And it's alternating possession to Yale.
Wow. That was close. Watch where Davenport grabs him.
Yeah, pretty
right. Grabbed his back and grabbed his shoulder. But they called the jump ball because he got the ball first.
All right, now Memphis, this is starting to get down to 1 and 2 possessions left.
5-second differential between the shot and the game clock.
Oh, got to foul Reynolds. You missed the opportunity there.
Oni, no, they're going to call a foul. They did.
That's the guy that you have to, percentage-wise. Memphis does everything but come up with a steal. Missed the first time, and Kareem Bruton, to his credit, recognized that he needed to foul Reynolds and did.
So Reynolds, 2 for 4 from the free throw line.
Shooting the double bonus, though.
10.7 rebounds for the senior, the captain of this Yale Bulldogs team. And a timeout called by Memphis. So looking at all the scenarios, if you're Penny Hardaway, if he makes only 1, if he makes 2, if he misses both free throws, just all kinds of things that they're going to be talking about right now.
Well, it all starts with if you miss the free throws, you must come up with a rebound, and then you got to push it up the floor. Obviously, if Memphis were to get fortunate and miss both of them, then you can settle for a 2-point shot as opposed to 3. Obviously, if he makes both of them, you still put 2 possessions, so you can still take the first good shot available. Doesn't necessarily have to be a 3. Memphis also got timeouts. Memphis got 2 timeouts. No, excuse me, Memphis does not have any timeouts. Yale's got 2 left.
The first pressure situation for Penny Hardaway as coach of the Tigers. They won over Tennessee Tech pretty solidly and then lost the game against LSU again where they played well, but in the end it was too much LSU. So this is one that's coming down to the wire for the first time in his young coaching tenure.
Well, this is how you gain experience in the heat of it.
Yale 17 of 21 from the free throw line, but 2 of those misses by this man, Blake Reynolds.
Well, if you're Memphis, ideally you're coming out of here with a chance to tie it with a 3. That's what you're hoping for.
Conley drains the first one.
That's the big one.
He's made and missed, and now made again. Tiger fans certainly hoping that pattern stays the same. And it does.
All right.
Boy, that was a long rebound. Lomax got it with one hand. Tigers down 3. They need a 3 to tie. Trying to set up Harris. Harris is
Tough shot. Tough shot.
way off the mark. Out of bounds, though, off Yale.
Yeah, he really didn't get set. He didn't come around the curl and square up properly. He had time, and that's just a little inexperience. He had plenty of time.
That's a
to
freshman.
come around. Because also, he's quick enough to create a foul.
They can't call a timeout because they don't have one left. 4.1 seconds to go. Two freshmen on the floor.
Will Yale foul before?
Harris from the corner got it off, and he fouled
He did.
again.
There's what we're talking about. Amazing.
They fouled Harris. Unbelievable.
Well, it was down in the corner where we couldn't see from people standing. Obviously, the crowd's reaction told us that there was a foul.
And Phil's, with his 5th foul, he has fouled out of the game. So 3 Yale players have been disqualified. If Harris can make these 3, 2.9 seconds still to go. And if he can't, quick foul certainly by Memphis. My gosh. 2 starters and a substitute have fouled out for Yale.
Tough spot for Tyler Harris as a freshman. Have to shoot 3 pressure-packed free throws. Makes the first. Wow.
Harris is now 5 of 6 tonight. 18 points for the freshman. Scored 20 at LSU earlier in the week. Makes the next.
Wow.
And now a timeout called by Yale, trying to freeze the young Tyler Harris on this 3rd and oh so important free throw.
Wow.
This next free throw will be the 39th attempted by Memphis. There's the reset. Possession arrow belongs to Memphis. 2.9 seconds to go, a 1-point game. Yale has the 1 timeout left. Amazing game. Yale shooting 51.9% from the field. They've committed 23 turnovers. Memphis at 43.3% have committed 15.
All right, so you've gone over everything. Obviously, Harris has got to finish. The most difficult part is making the 3, and then if you're Memphis, you cannot foul. Enough time for Yale to get a look.
Will they use that last timeout? That's the question. And Harris makes all 3. Will Yale call the timeout? The final timeout, they will. Wasn't sure if they were going to try to force the issue and come right at Memphis. How about that freshman? Ice water in his veins. And he ties it up. 20 points back-to-back by Tyler Harris.
That's impressive.
We are tied at 83, but there's still 2.9 seconds to play. And now let's talk strategy for Yale.
Well, now, if Memphis is careless and they reach it, they're not trying to steal it to score at the buzzer. They don't need that. They've got to avoid contact. Now, if you're Yale, you want to get it in bounds, ideally with a long pass, or get it to a guy who's already going towards the basket. 2.9 seconds is enough time to get a couple dribbles and a shot. They're going to try to create a foul. Unless the home run ball is open, they're going to try to create a foul to try to create the contact. If you're Memphis, you cannot get baited into that. You cannot have contact and let them win it at the free throw line.
Oni and Swain, Austin Williams,
but look
Eric Monroe.
There'll be a home run scenario, or the long pass will be one. They'll have one guy that'll swing long. Mike Parks is back. He just can't allow anybody to get behind him.
So Reynolds will inbound it. Davenport will defend the inbounds pass.
There's your home run.
And
there it is.
Throw it deep. And he overthrew everything.
Wow, it'll come back.
Oh, they saved it. Oni, he did not get it off in time.
Wow.
And we are going to overtime. Unbelievable. He overthrew the intended receiver. It was Montana to Rice. And then somehow they saved it. And Oni got a decent shot, unfortunately for Oni. Well, he didn't make it anyway, but it was a tick behind or beyond the final buzzer. And we go to OT. Penny Hardaway's first overtime game as the coach of the University of Memphis.
Really give the Memphis club a lot of credit because they were really in trouble. They get bailed out with a foul on a three-point shot, and then a freshman, Tyler Harris, has got to step up. There's the long pass. Has not touched anybody yet.
Now watch this save here. That's an amazing save by Swain.
And as you mentioned, shot clock clearly, the game clock had clearly gone off. It would not have counted. I think Memphis was very, very aware not to create a foul, which I give them a lot of credit. They didn't want it. Once it goes over the head, you got to be aggressive and go and get it. But Tyler Harris, the freshman, right here in Memphis with the 3 biggest free throws of his early career. But if he can step up to the line and do what he just did, that is some amazing feats at this stage of his career to be able to do.
And now you're Yale. You feel like maybe you have that game in the final moments. You have to go into overtime minus 3 key players who have all fouled out of the game.
Well, if you're Memphis, this is an opportunity again to go inside and try to live inside with Parks and Davenport, because you should have some height and some strength advantage inside, or you're going to live at the free throw line.
Have they gotten away from that, or was it because the twin towers of Bruner and Atkinson did a good job defensively?
Probably a combination, but we talked Parks was missing in action, most of the second half after having such a good first half. But 2 things. First of all, you could have had some back issues, and also you got a conditioning question. Practice running is a little different than the emotions and the adrenaline that you get drained of, in a game. So I don't know what his physical condition is game-wise, and only the coaching staff does. But he was in the stretch, down the run, and I'll be surprised if he's not in there in the overtime period.
That's a very good point. He did not play in the Tennessee Tech game, missed both of the Tigers' exhibition games, and went for 15 minutes in the game at LSU, where he did score 9 points and pull down 6 rebounds in 15 minutes of play.
Well, for those folks that made the trip down here to the FedEx Forum, they've been rewarded.
All right, we got some...
Just had a clarification that the clock did start a little bit early. It started really before it was touched, is what he was saying, but it elapsed. Anyway, they looked at it. That's what they were looking at to make sure that 2.9 seconds had elapsed, and it did. That's just checking in with us. But like I said, if you were one of the fortunate ones that decided to come down here on Saturday night to downtown on a beautiful day, almost 70 degrees in Memphis today, 28 degrees on Wednesday, and now we got 70 today, you have been treated to a extremely fun night of college basketball.
And of course, everybody watching us here on ESPN3 certainly enjoying that as well.
That's exactly right. What a great way to kick this season off. This is only the 2nd game for Yale, only the 3rd game for Memphis.
We always appreciate the officials coming over and clarifying things. Right. I didn't notice that the clock had started early, but again, he said by the time he shot it, the clock had run out, so the shot would not have counted if it went in.
That's right. And what they did is they looked at it in real time over there to see how long before the shot was attempted and the clock had actually gone out, and they were able to figure out what the difference was. But the fans are on their feet. It is an electric atmosphere in the FedEx Forum here the last 6-7 minutes of this game.
Copeland, Monroe, Reynolds, Oney, and Swain on the floor for Yale. Davenport, Harris, Martin, Parks, and Lomax for Memphis, and Yale wins the tip.
Good job by Parks. Didn't leave his feet. Look at the motion and the screens that Yale's creating.
Martin tried to sell that. Officials said nope. And a second opportunity here for Yale.
And they were correct. There wasn't any contact.
How good has Monroe been? The minutes he's given James Jones. Copeland pulls up. Got it. And Yale strikes first in OT.
That's important. Again, the difficult finish for Yale, thinking they had the game probably won. It's important for them to come out and get a basket early, and that's exactly what they do.
8 for Copeland. Davenport blocked by Oney, and it went off Yale and out of bounds, so Memphis will retain possession. 18 ticks remaining on the shot clock.
Davenport in traffic's got a habit. Contact comes falling down a little too much. Got to be a little stronger with it. He's very talented, creative inside.
Just 1 of 6 from the field, John. 4 points for Davenport.
They missed Martin late. He came free late on the backside.
Bruton Jr. just checked in.
Good job by Jr. Bruton. Nothing there. You'd have to force it. Now, shot clock inside 10.
Harris
No, that's just too far.
And Reynolds gets the rebound. Yale will probably try to take a little air out of the ball if they can, but it's very hard when you're being dogged by Memphis.
Well, what Memphis doesn't want to do, again, is gamble up high where somebody gets an easy opportunity by gambling, not coming up with a nice back door.
Monroe gave up maybe a layup. Copeland for three, and he drains it.
Big.
A 5-0 Copeland run in overtime, and it's a 5-point lead for the Bulldogs.
Memphis is going to have to figure out a way to get it to the rim.
Oh, what a move by Bruton. Count it. Goaltending. It went in anyway. What a move by Bruton.
The reason I say get it to the rim, you don't have to rely on a perimeter shot. Memphis is doing such a good job once they get there. Plus, it puts you in position to get the rebound if you need it.
That was a dangerous pass right there by Oni, but Swain able to outleap Lomax.
And Yale, really good job coming off screens. Do a real good job knowing what they're going to do. Copeland
just blows by Bruton there. 7 for Copeland in the OT session. And now for the game, that's 13 for Alex Copeland, the senior guard, and the lead back to 5. Jeremiah Martin, count it! Oh no, they're going to take it away. Foul out front though, but they won't count the bucket.
The Grizzlies are playing on this court, that's good.
Yeah, he won't get the NBA continuation call there.
Nice move by Martin though, again. Going to the rim. Last 2 trips, what have they done? They've gone right to the basket. Created the pressure right on Yale.
So Martin to the free throw line. He's 2 for 4 tonight. Memphis 26 of 39. Martin at 9 points. Now becomes the 5th Tiger in double-figure scoring. Cuts the deficit to 4.
Now again, 2:54, plenty of time, but defensively, Memphis has got to do a better job of not allowing dribble penetration. And Copeland has been the culprit that's caused the most problem. Monroe really didn't want to shoot. That's not what he does. The last time he showed you they didn't want to do that. He's capable, and a nice 3-point play early in the game.
Well, they got Monroe, and it looked like he traveled, yes. Great defense. They doubled Monroe. Once he picked up the dribble, he was in trouble, and that is the 24th turnover by Yale.
When you get an offensive man backpedaling, the trap comes in, he's going back. There's nothing he did.
Right. He picked up that dribble, and they just jumped on him.
Yeah. Ooh, boy, Martin almost pushing off on Swain.
And Swain will be called for the foul. Martin will go right back to the free throw line, and Swain is beside himself.
This is where Martin creates so much trouble. He's so strong with the ball. Swain reaching in, actually.
He hardly touched him, but anytime that hand comes out, you have mentioned that many times. They're gonna whistle.
Well, we talked about it. You know, again, physical play is another area of emphasis with the game this year. Trying to really eliminate some of the unnecessary hand checking and the physical play.
Right. Martin misses the first. One more for the senior. And he misses both. And a good box out by Oni on Davenport.
Memphis gambling.
Look at Copeland. He's going to pull up again. Not that time. His first miss in the overtime session. Lomax got it stripped. And then Oni was held by Bruton Jr. And he'll go to the free throw line. B.A. Oni will shoot some free throws.
Yeah, good job by Swain reaching in and knocking that ball away from Lomax. Got to do a better job of ball security and traffic, particularly at this juncture in the game. Yale, to their credit, making the key plays. Now they're going to go to the free throw line. James Jones not ready to let anybody play yet, so he's going to hold on the ball. The referee's going to have to go retrieve the basketball. That's a good way to get a couple extra seconds to talk to your team. That's a veteran move.
20 years at Yale, and the officials now looking at whether or not this was a free pass, or a clear pass, excuse me, on that foul by Bruton Jr. We have had 66 free throws shot in this game tonight, and there'll be some more.
Yeah, it's been contested.
We're going to get some clarification from Wesley Ford.
They're actually looking at whether or not there's a flagrant 1 foul is what they're talking about. It's what they're reviewing everything for.
Right.
I don't think they're going to see anything there. But
no, he grabbed him, but I don't see anything flagrant about that.
But that's once again, the officials do a nice job letting us know exactly what they are looking for, making sure.
That's and there's the flagrant 1, excessive and or unnecessary, not a legitimate play on the ball. Holder pushed from behind. Well, he did hold him a little bit from behind.
You could get the third point there could come up, and let's.
Now the clear path is an NBA rule.
Yeah, now they're all discussing it. You got all 3 officials.
They may call it a flagrant 1. I mean, if you look at the letter of the law, that rule.
I think that's exactly what Talbot did. Get him from behind.
He held him from behind.
And I think that's the one part of that. So there was nothing excessive, about that foul, but he may get him from behind.
Jeremiah Martin's played 35 minutes tonight. Tyler Harris has played 33 minutes tonight. Oney's played 34 for Yale.
Got it again. Yeah, he's got it from behind.
Yeah, I mean,
not a tremendous amount of contact, but it sure comes at a critical juncture now.
They have in the NBA, they have the clear path. In other words, is there anybody behind him? Would he have a layup right there? And in this case, they're looking at a flagrant 1 because he wrapped his arms around him from the back. They've been discussing this for quite some time. And again, if you look at the rule, that's exactly what Jeremiah did. I'm sorry, Kareem Bruton. That's what Kareem Bruton did. So here we go. And it will be, I believe, a flagrant 1 foul against Kareem Bruton Jr. Yes, exactly how we thought it would go.
All right, the story is you're going to get 2 free throws. It is going to be a flagrant 1, primarily because no attempt to make a play on the ball is what they ultimately determined. This is a big juncture.
It is. Oney will shoot some free throws.
2:23 to go.
And maybe that's a little bit of fatigue there as he was short on that free throw attempt. Oney's got 15. Scored 16 against Cal in Shanghai, China in 16 minutes. He's played 34 tonight. Maybe gassed. Yeah, that looks like a tired shooter right there. This is both.
Yeah, and then of course the other component is they also get the ball. So you've got the free throws and you get the ball back. That's why the flagrant 1, issuance is critical. But amazingly, we're right back to almost where we started. Memphis very fortunate, and you're absolutely right. I don't think there's any doubt that Oney's just tired. His legs were straight. That ball was very, very straight trajectory.
Oh, what a steal by Martin. He went up high on that Monroe pass. He's going to lay it in, and it's a 1-point game. Jeremiah Martin's been big in the overtime session.
Look at that. Memphis was down by 3, could have been down by 5 or 6 after that possession. Free throws and then possibly a 3.
Dangerous pass. Copeland got tripped from behind, and he'll shoot free throws.
Memphis has got to keep their composure again, not creating some fouls.
So Copeland, who's been the big offensive threat for Yale in this overtime session, will go to the free throw line, trying to add to his 13 and trying to add to Yale's lead. Fans didn't like that.
Good knee bend there, good arch, good rotation of the ball. When you get tired in these stretches, you really got to bend down. That's what gives you the lift on your free throw.
Copeland's had some rest tonight. Yeah. He's 24 minutes, so they've gotten him out and they've given him spells. It's 5 for 6.
He's been very impressive in this game, and they've needed a basket.
And he's now 6 for 7. He's got that streak going.
Nobody
again.
back for Memphis to get the ball. Really got to do it. Good job. Keep your cool now for Memphis. Down by 3, plenty of time.
I believe a timeout and a 30, a full and a 30 for each team. Nice delivery by Martin to Davenport. The seniors connect.
Once again, they got it to the rim. Memphis doing a much better job in terms of the shot selection. Don't have to steal it. They don't have to sell out and gamble all out in the pressure. Once that shot clock gets inside 10, then the advantage really shifts to the defense. Not as many options for the offense once that happens, and that's where you cannot foul. If you're Memphis now inside 10, you cannot allow them to run the clock down and foul and put them on the free throw line.
Copeland pulls up at the elbow. Got it. Boy, he's tough. He's been big in OT. It's a 3-point Yale lead as we approach a minute to play.
Once again, Memphis wants to try to get it to the rim.
Bruton jump stop and got rid of it, and at the feet of Davenport is where he threw the pass. They're going to say out of bounds off Memphis.
Yeah, just too casual, that pass, just lackadaisical.
Or off Yale, excuse me. So Memphis will retain possession.
Memphis very fortunate to get that one back.
Yeah, that's a tough one for a big guy to handle that low of a pass. And they're going to check to see if it did go off of Yale. We've got a number of visits by the officials to the scorer's table here in the last few minutes. They want to make sure they get it right, as we are just a tick under 1 minute to play. What a game. Everything you could ask for. Big foul discrepancy in this game. Yale has been whistled 33 times. 3 guys have fouled out of the game. Memphis has committed only 19 fouls somehow. As aggressive as they play, you would think it'd be flipped, and they'd be committing a lot of the fouls, but they're doing a great job defensively in ball hawking and not necessarily fouling.
Well, like Copeland, a lot of his shots he's pulling up. He's not going all the way to the rim all the time. So sometimes that foul discrepancy, sometimes it's a big question mark. It's warranted. Coaches point that out. But in some cases, take a look. Wow. I couldn't tell from that angle whether that caught the backside of Oni's heel or not. I think it's going to stay the same. I think it's going to stay. I didn't see anything that will maybe change the call.
Well, here it is again from a different angle.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. Good call by the official.
Good job by our crew as well. That's the one you needed to see, and so I saw it.
Much better angle there. That was definitive. I think we would say that's confirmed. If we were football, that would be confirmed, that call?
Exactly.
Okay.
Harris. Very similar to what we saw at the end of regulation. No foul, and that one goes in and out. Copeland, of all people, comes down with the rebound. He's been so good, and he's fouled, and you didn't really have to commit a foul there. You had him pick up the dribble, and you had double team on him. Just a foolish foul right there. You've been talking about that for the last 3-4 minutes.
Well, it's the double bonus if you're Yale. I'm not talking about the free throws. You get to run time off the clock, and then you get the benefit of 2 free throws.
And you're fouling a guy.
You can't look, and that's not the guy you want to foul.
No, he's nearly automatic. Tonight he's 6 for 7. Came into the game with a streak of 39 straight made free throws. The streak broke at 40, but he started another streak. And now a 2-possession game with 49.6 seconds remaining. Last season, 87%, which was second in the Ivy League. The poli-sci major drills both.
All right, Memphis is going to have to figure out a way to get to the rim.
Oh, Lomax, great. No look at Davenport. Gets fouled and makes the shot. Just a foolish foul by Yale.
That's a fatigue foul. You start to get tired. Actually, that may be Austin Williams, because that's just foolish foul. Sometimes you get fatigue fouls late in the game instead of moving your feet on defense. And there's nothing they could do. Once you got the possession there, you weren't going to stop him. Chance to cut it to a 2-point deficit.
And the senior does. Davenport quiet for most of the night, but he's come through with 5 in the overtime session.
Oh, that's perfect right there.
96-94 game. There is an 11-second differential between the shot and the game clock. Don't have to foul if you're Memphis.
Copeland either gives it up or kills his dribble, then you cannot allow him to get it back.
Lomax teeing up Copeland, who's been huge in the OT session. Copeland, fall away, air ball.
Good defense.
Now Memphis has a chance to tie or win. Ball got tipped. Martin got fouled. And with 8 seconds to go in overtime, Martin, who right now is favoring that shoulder, will go to the free throw line. Got hit pretty hard, and he's trying to walk it off. Kind of rub that shoulder where the pain is. Look at it again.
Ball was tipped. Memphis fortune. Actually, he's had a great opportunity. Kick it inside to Davenport, who was wide open for another flush.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Yale was doing there. But again, you lose some key inside players like Bruner and Atkinson.
Tough free throw shooting. Jeremiah Martin only 50% tonight.
Makes a big one there. One more, a big one to try to tie it again.
Now, there's plenty of time, 8.7 seconds, for Yale to get a good look at the other end if this goes. It's not.
It does not. Loose
Memphis
ball.
going to get a chance to win it.
Davenport gets the rebound. And a timeout called by Memphis.
Wow. Wow.
Wow, you're right. Wow, wow, wow. 6.3 seconds to go in overtime. We'll take a timeout. Memphis trailing Yale by a point. You are inside the huddle of the Memphis Tigers with Penny Hardaway drawing up what could be the final shot of the game. 6.3 to go.
Well, Jeremiah Martin's been the guy that has found a way to get to the rim and either make the shot or create a foul. He's just been to the rim. He's just been to the free throw line, hit a couple, so he would certainly be one of the options you're looking at. But ideally, you're getting to the rim if you can, where you have a chance to make a basket, put some pressure on Yale, and also an offensive rebound.
Memphis trails by 1. Lomax with the inbounds. Got it to Davenport. Davenport behind the defense, lays it up. No, but he's
got to be a foul.
Holy smokes.
Exactly what we talked about, though. Excellent job by Memphis, taking it right to the rim. The gamble high side by Austin Williams. Swain's lucky. Actually, he wasn't lucky. I mean, he was leaning already. He was already leaning when the contact occurs, so he's clearly moving. Now, Davenport's got to hit the first one.
Well, they could have called Williams on the grab. I think they got Swain on that one, if I'm not mistaken. Swain has 4. Williams has 4. They've had 3 guys foul out already.
Davenport is very close to possibly getting enough composure to flush that shot.
Right.
Instead, just off balance just enough where he can't gain himself and go up and dunk the ball. Because once he gets by, once Williams misses on the steal outside, he's got a huge height advantage over Swain.
Davenport, 2 of 4 from the free throw line tonight. He has only 9 points, but 5 in the open.
Again, right here, just enough off balance right there where he can't gather himself, and if actually Swain's in the way, he's not going to dunk it. But he could have easily gone up and over Swain for an easy, little 2-3 foot bank shot. So just enough off balance. Actually, the foul probably helps. Again, there's the contact. Swain's already moving. You see he's leaning already by the time a contact occurs. We got 3.6 seconds left. Double bonus, so you're going to get 2 free throws.
Memphis 30 of 46 tonight from the free throw line. 75 free throws have been taken. And here's 2 more. And he short-armed the first one. We've been in the double bonus since noon today. And a timeout called by James Jones. So a lot of strategy here as well. He makes the free throw, it's a tie. Misses the free throw, you're still up 1, so he wants to make sure his team, and he's got some players in there that wouldn't normally be in during crunch time because of the fouls. And so they want to make sure they're all set for whatever happens here with this Davenport free throw.
Well, for Davenport, maybe a little more knee bend. That time it was short, borderline drive. That's either nerves or fatigue. But again, a little deeper knee bend. That'll give you a little more arch, a little softer shot. If you make the free throw, Yale's got plenty of time. 3.8 seconds again. That's enough time to catch, put it on the floor. Last time they had the home run pass. And the one thing you don't want to do if you're Memphis is foul. If for some reason you miss the free throw, then you got to foul immediately if you don't get the rebound. Got to be immediate. For some reason, I don't think people are ready to go home yet. People that are watching the game are ready to turn off. I think we might have some more much more game left to play.
They're not ready to sit down either. Davenport for the tie.
Got it. Nice. Now, got to get back for the home run ball. Watch the long pass.
Take it
behind. Oh, my goodness. Oni was open.
It's
no
Swain.
foul. No foul.
3 seconds. Swain from half court. No. And we're going to a double overtime.
I had the feeling. More basketball.
Swain could have dribbled it a little bit closer.
All right. Penny finally with the jacket off, so he's...
Well, he probably sweated through the jacket.
Now, I do think at this juncture, with the players that Yale has lost, the players that Memphis still has, there should be a real advantage, Greg, inside, if the Tigers, choose to use that. Yale, to their part of it, they still got some guys that can create, have proven they can create off the dribble. The question is, are they still going to be feeling fresh enough where they can still get the shots if fatigue doesn't set in?
So here was the final play.
Good job by coverage, forcing him to his left. Good job by Lomax.
Tell how much time when you let it go, but maybe another
one more dribble. One more dribble.
Okay.
That's the only thing. If you're Swain, is maybe a little create. See if you can get Lomax out of position where you can create maybe a little theatrics or grab a chicken wing and see if you can create a foul. That's the only other thing you can do in that scenario.
As we head into double overtime, Swain's has 4 fouls. Austin Williams has 4 fouls. Only their top player, only the 2. He's in good shape. Memphis has not had anybody in foul trouble all game long.
Maurice, the only one that...
Isaiah Maurice,
yeah.
Correct. We haven't seen him in a long time. But 3 Yale players have fouled out of this game, including Jordan Bruner.
See, look how small this lineup is, for Yale. You've got Austin Williams at 6'8". That's your tallest, player. Now Memphis is not going to go big. They're not going to, you got Davenport at 6'8". You got, primarily everybody else is pretty similar in terms of height.
Well, this is a 4-guard lineup for Memphis with Bruton Jr. along with Martin, Lomax, and Tyler Harris. And as you said, Davenport's basically the center.
Yeah, that's for defensive purposes.
And Yale controls the tip.
Memphis has not been playing from the lead in a while. They have done a good job of finding a way to come back. It'd be nice to play with the lead if you're Memphis. Force Yale to make the key plays. Now, no foul. Once again, inside 10. Here's a clear out for Oni. Here comes the high screen.
6 on the shot clock. Oni lost the dribble, picked it back up. Now Swain's going to release.
Nice defense by Memphis. Good job by Harris. Good job. Didn't have to force it. Nothing there. After Memphis, really, what's been so good to you is getting the ball to the rim, either a basket or living at the free throw line.
Martin defended, but he makes the shot anyway.
Excellent. It's exactly the play you want from your senior.
And Martin has been big
now,
in the overtime session.
Big series here. See if Memphis can have a stop, another stop. Boy, Copeland's so tough. Short. First time he's been short on the shot. Again, he's been playing a lot of minutes.
Fans on their feet. Tigers.
This is where you like to see you like to see Martin with a dribble, and if the double team comes or the help comes, Davenport's been the beneficiary.
Kick to Bruton for 3. Got it! Wow! A huge 3 by the senior. A 5-0 run for Memphis to start the second overtime, and they're over the century mark.
Now, no foul if you're Memphis, and if you're Yale, there's plenty of time. Again, hey, you got 3+. That's an eternity.
Oni's
got short. They're tired. That's fatigue now.
No question he's tired.
Yep.
No question about it.
And plus, he's not going to the rim. He's settling for the jump shot. But if you're Yale, plenty of time. No, you don't have to settle for long shots just yet. 3 minutes to go.
Martin wants to clear out.
Yeah, he's asking to get everybody out of the way.
Now has a mismatch with Williams, and only gets the rebound.
Again,
you could have right by Williams.
Yeah. Stick with what's been so successful. It puts so much pressure on Yale. Either you get the basket or you're living at the free throw line.
In the meantime, what works for Yale is Copeland driving the ball.
Yeah, he's a little tired.
Oni
settling for that big shot.
And Yale's going cold in the second overtime.
Now, this is where Memphis has got to make them pay for settling for those long shots. Got to find a way to get Davenport inside off the dribble when the defense comes and helps.
Lomax strong to the hole, and the freshman has a bucket. And a timeout call.
He called for it, then he changed his mind. That's my fault.
That's okay. Copeland spins, shoots, no.
Yeah, you're seeing just a tired Yale team at this point. Copeland hadn't missed anything all night from that range, and now Memphis really with an opportunity to close this one out and somehow, miraculously, steal one at home.
Got to look back at the record books to find out the last double overtime game for Memphis. A lot of contact. No whistles here in the second overtime. And then finally, Williams is called for the foul, although that looked pretty clean. And Williams will have his 5th foul.
3 seconds on the shot clock. So Memphis did exactly what we've been talking about Memphis not doing at the other end. They forced Yale to live with them burning off most of the shot clock, and then at the end they get the free throws.
So the 4th Bulldog to foul out of this game is Austin Williams, who leads with 3 points. And checking in is Matthew Cotton, the 6'5" freshman guard. It's been a game of attrition.
Wow.
I don't know if Yale would have enough players if we went to triple overtime. Martin makes the first free throw. Great game. Can't say enough, and that's going to be...
Well, we got 2 of the Tiger coaching staffs out of the jacket. Mike Miller and Penny Hardaway both with the jackets off. Sam Mitchell and Tony Madlock retained their jackets on the sideline, but I give Memphis players a lot of credit with making really some phenomenal plays, primarily at the free throw line.
Well, if you didn't sweat through your jacket as a coach, you didn't coach hard enough. This has been a tremendous game from start to finish.
Now, no foul if you're Memphis. Timeout now for Yale.
We'll take a timeout. 1:27 remaining in the second overtime. Memphis in control by 9. It has been all Memphis in the second overtime, a 9-0 run, and you have to feel a little bit for Yale. 5 guys have fouled out of this game. Phil's, Atkinson, Bruner, Reynolds, and Williams, and Swain's playing with 4 fouls. It's very tough to defend effectively when you know that the next foul is going to disqualify you from the game.
Now, as crazy as this is to say, 9-point deficit, minute 25 in this game. There's still enough time. You know, if you're Yale, and if you're Memphis, you don't want to stop the clock with a foul.
Monroe steps back, and he drains the long-range 3. Eric Monroe off the bench has been really good for James Jones' team. 6-point game. Memphis having trouble now. They're going to have to get it up court here, and they almost throw it away. Jeremiah Martin has that good vertical.
Boy, Davenport was wide open, but Martin didn't have to have a basket.
And if you're Yale, don't commit the foul. You're down 2 possessions here. Time's winding down, but this deep into the shot clock, you certainly don't want to foul. Martin now with 5 seconds has to do something here. Martin drives, floats it. No. And the loose ball back to Martin.
Nice. Got a foul beforehand.
They're going to wave off the shot.
Good job by Kevin Davenport, keeping that ball alive inside.
Why do you shoot that, though?
Don't have to. No, you could pull it out. That's right. I think he felt he was so close right this time. But Davenport did a good job, kept it alive. Martin comes up with it. Not much contact, but Matthew Cotton.
Martin missed the first.
And you got to start wondering if Jeremiah Martin is fatigue going to set in on him, because he has been beaten up.
Well, in the 2 overtime sessions, Martin has been really good, and Davenport has come alive. These 2 guys struggled tonight for the most part. That's a big free throw. Martin now has 19. Harris is 20 to lead the Tigers. Oni for 3. No,
nice
Davenport,
rebound.
boy. How about that leap from Kevin Davenport? And now we got an official whistle, and maybe a clock issue. It's pointing towards the clock. Right now the clock shows 26 seconds to go in the game, 26.2 to be exact, 19 on the shot clock.
Yeah, that's just what you don't want if you're Memphis. That time, now you got to have an inbounds pass, which allows Yale time to set the defense.
7-point lead for Memphis. Closing in on a 3-hour basketball game. And Martin is fouled by Cotton. And he'll go to the line with 25.5 seconds to go. Memphis has shot 52 free throws. And they're going to shoot 2 more. Yale pales in comparison, but they've shot 29. Boy, Penny Hardaway probably thinking, I thought this was going to be easier. Martin in and out.
Well, if you're Memphis, even though it was not perfect down the stretch, the fact that the team just would not give up. Even though it did not look good, even though they didn't play particularly great at times, they would not give up. And I think, that, again, that comes right from Penny Hardaway. He just refuses to not compete.
And Copeland drains the 3, and Yale continues to battle. Down 5, and Harris will go to the free throw line. The last double overtime game for the University of Memphis back on January 3rd of 2009 as the Tigers beat Lamar 108-75. That's crazy.
Copeland, again, he has really impressed me at times.
How do you get a double overtime score of 108-75? How do you win by 33? That's the text I've been sent by the sports information director from the University of Memphis. May have to double check on that. That's crazy. Unless everybody for Lamar fouled out of the game. Let's go back to the 3 free throws at the end of regulation that Tyler Harris had to make, and he made them.
Phenomenal. Again, you can't replicate that kind of pressure in practice.
Harris is 9 of 10, John. 22 points to lead the way. Heroic effort by Copeland in these 2 overtime sessions. But this one is going to be a hard-fought W for Memphis when it's all said and done.
This is not what James Jones wants to leave the FedEx Forum with, but he's gained a tremendous amount of respect from the people that are here, the people that are watching on TV that may not be as familiar with his Yale program. But they are, after this, they are a force to be reckoned with in the Ivy League.
109-102 the final. The trio of starting guards for Memphis combined for 55 points. Harris 22, Martin 20, Lomax 13. John, a quick final thought after the Tigers' double overtime win.
Well, again, if you're Penny Hardaway and the Memphis Tigers, you just have to really be impressed with their grit, their desire. Again, did not look good in regulation, didn't look good in overtime, yet they found a way to scrap out a win, and that will be something that will carry on throughout the season. This is a very confidence-building win for Memphis here at home. Took everything they had, but they pulled it out.
And then some. The Tigers will improve to 2-1, and Yale tastes defeat for the very first time. Once again, final score 109-102 Memphis in double overtime. John Albright, I'm Greg Gaston saying so long from FedEx Forum. Again, the Tigers are winner by 7. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live on the ESPN app, or to watch this entire game on replay, as well as other games on our family of ESPN networks. Log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.